threes is where we get all the BS out the way that we always talk about. Best of ones, they're a little bit flimsy in terms of building a narrative. Best of threes, if you start losing best of threes to teams you're not meant to be losing to, that's when we can say you're underperforming. If you start winning them, overperforming, Dark Horse and all the rest, you know, even teams like Kazakhstan, for example, we've sort of talking about them as this Dark Horse. I said it before the tournament. I wish we did like some sort of thing, but we spoke about it, right? Because in the qualifiers, they were unreal. However, we don't fully believe until we actually see them in a best of three situation. So we'll catch them later. Serbia and Poland. Serbia are used to playoffs here at IESF. They've been to, I think I'm right to say it's 4 back-to-back now. It was in Yash last year, Bali before that, and I forget which was, where it was even before that. But they're veterans of the playoff stage here at IESF. The only issue is for them, they always make it to playoffs and normally get first rounded.
It's going to be a tough matchup here against Poland in the sense that this team has stuck together for a long while, and you're starting to see some peaks in individuals. You're starting to see Friend get a little bit more comfortable on that AWP.
Yeah.
I genuinely think that Atlanta stint did so much for him in terms of confidence at a high level that now, whatever's going on with this opening situation with Serbia that we'll see develop in this best of three, it'll really call into question of that head-to-head with Friend, and I'll be very curious to see whether or not Friend can hold his own here now that the pressure is really on. And as Vendetta was mentioning, I don't think these Serbians are going to get any sort of pressure underneath their skin, especially considering that playoff experience that you're adding in as well.
They've been to RMRs, you know what I mean? That they've played the best of the best. Granted, not always been the best for them, but they've been there. They've been to top level tournaments. They've been able to do something in terms of a stage environment. So I don't think they're going to be too unused. That's the only thing going for them. And I had a little word with Choiv just before, you know, my boy one time. This is actually their first time they played on this setup, so it's a little different.
They were off stage.
Yeah, they've been off stage for every single one. Where at least Poland have this kind of stage environment to work with, so they're going to be a little bit more used to that. And they play in the same exact booth as well over there, so it's going to be a little bit more familiar territory, I guess, for them on the stage. Bit of a different setup, and of course, I think primarily the way in which you can sort of see each other. I think that's the main thing for me, right? Being able to like shout to someone who's 5 meters away. I mean, it makes a big difference. So we'll see. But like you said, I really just don't see Serbia getting nervy about any of this. On the way though, Pistol here to kickstart things. And Serbia starting on that T side. B-Doc to the first. Oh, and Dragon actually will support. And they're starting to pressure them all the way back. This card player's got to go huge, and it is Friend. There's something about Orpas on pistols. They're pretty sick to watch, and it's back into a 1 versus 2. But they know where he is. We don't need to go there.
Yeah, they don't, but they've kind of pump faked here. They've made just a full cut of noise, suggesting that they might have doubled back from long doors, gone back to B, and Friend completely evacuates car, moves all the way back through middle, and it's a free cross for the Serbians. They'll get the bomb down. Friend, when will that penny drop that he knows that it's not that B bomb site? I think now he should know that, the game is on. He'll have a very quick long lurk, but Choiv is already here to hear all of this. Yeah,
this is a really, really nice setup. It's a pretty difficult crossfire to try and break down, and it will be Choiv who sees it off. Good work as well from Serbia. I think they play that perfectly. There's really nothing you can say on a negative note there. They kind of had that initial aggression. The first fights go in their favor. They trade effectively where they come away with the numbers advantage, and then they just wait. They know they already tagged up Friend too, so they hold wait, and it works for them. We've pretty immediately lost Mast, unfortunately, so we'll get him back in, hopefully, as soon as. But a good way to start things off as well for the boys over and in Serbia. I'm actually, you know, the desk talking about it, I'm leading Serbia here for me.
Yeah, I think you can lean Serbia here. It's the team that, if their rifle core is on, is genuinely very dangerous. I think even the calling from Emmy has always been good.
Yeah.
I think it is purely what is he going to provide individually in a game like CS2, where I think it's very clear, it's kind of what a lot of pundits say as a broken record, is that IGLs cannot be a hamper in terms of that individual mechanics. So I do think that I'm looking towards the peak of Serbia connected and correlated with Emmy's individual success.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think you touched on it there. For me, the biggest advantage that Serbia have got going for them is that rifle core, because it is, in my opinion, just hands down better than Poland.
Yeah.
Poland, their win factor, their win condition is Friend.
And how they use him.
Exactly. The awkward thing is, if Friend doesn't play well, Poland don't play well. It's as simple as that. So you have to look at this and say, like, at least for like Serbia, like if Dragon doesn't play well, they've got others who can step up and do some decent work, right? We know the fact that like kind of Collins, Choiv can all have their moments, and that for me is a big one. Kindo, the youngster on the side, he's had some really flashy moments in the past. So honestly, I look at this and say, all expectations for me is that Serbia can just win in terms of a bit of a brute force style of play, because
clearly in that pistol, right?
Yeah.
You're going for these long duels. You're playing basically like a 4v4
Yeah.
at the very start of the round. You're going in dry through long doors, and you're saying we want to take every aim duel possible and trade as effectively as possible. And it worked perfectly, right? And they just played into these low man situations and pull off what should be a confirmed 2v1 every single time. So I think you're right. I mean, just if Serbia can brute force in a regular basis, it's going to be hard for Poland to mechanically keep up with a team like Serbia.
Yeah, I agree. I think we're waiting. It seems like Mask dropped out, but headphones are on, so it's a good sign. And I'm seeing a bit of movement. So it might have been a pretty simple like CS crash. Get back open. The issue with CS2, really, just how often it crashes. Doesn't matter where you are, whether you're at home. I gotta say though, weirdly enough, I've never crashed at home.
Dude, I've been having this alt-tab issue recently. I don't know if
I don't tab out.
See, I don't either. So when I demo watch, so when I was preparing for this tournament, I would watch a demo, I'd like pause, maybe check HLTV, and then when I click back in CS,
it breaks.
It would basically like freeze,
and
then
it would
go back to the
it
would take me back to the desktop, and I'm like, why would I want to do that? And I have to click in multiple times, and then it stays in CS.
Yeah. Like so for me, it's like, especially people who like get the tab bug at home, it's because they tab out when they die. I'm just Instagram Reels.
See, that's just Brian.
Yeah. I'm Instagram Reels immediately. You know what I mean? So like, no tabbing when it comes to the phone. So we're okay there. But I don't know. It looks like it's okay. We don't see any kind of admins there. I think it is just something as simple as booting the game back up, which maybe can take a moment, make sure his configs are okay. But we should get going in a minute. To follow this as well, we've got Kazakhstan, Portugal. That should be a really cool game. I mean, just to see what Kazakhstan have really got up their sleeve, because Portugal aren't a bad side by any means. The Rhino team obviously have a lot of depth in their own regard. It's just whether they can compete with like the firepower, so to say, of Kazakhstan, which seems so scary so far. Tech pause seems concluded though, and we are going to get the show back on the road. First round on the books for Serbia. We see my least favorite thing though, Poland going for that CT side force buy.
You know, this one actually doesn't look that bad. I think the Scout's potency on a map like Dust 2 is very powerful. And you've got these MP9s, one specifically getting into lower as quickly as possible. They should be aware that this is a possibility. It's a very standard protocol for the CT, but this is a little different. You've got another MP9 and the Scout pushing forward, but it's been spotted.
Yeah, the question is, do they even swing back into Suicide to try and fight him? This lower play is pretty huge. That Molotov, it's not going to spread and tick, but it at least just stops them.
Yeah, but do they know that disassembly has happened? Because there's no mid presence at all to even jiggle and get that information. Now they're going to re-aggress.
Oh, this is big. This first kill could be everything. It's the Mach 10 that goes for the first, and Choiv, again, successful trades that just keep the man advantage over towards Serbia. Exactly what they did in their pistol, exactly what they're doing here. Find that first fight, but then, again, pumping those brakes, not committing to the fight. Galil of Kindo, good for one, tapping away at range. He does get a dink as well. I think that dink was through the door, so it didn't actually do a hell of a lot of damage. But Atomico on a deagle, unlikely there, and only the one consolation kill for Poland. Not a good force buy.
That's a systemic round there from Serbia. I mean, just finding a way to retain upper control and then not exploding onto B instantaneously, but holding for that mid presence, because you have a player coming back through lower, you still have some mid players as well, and as soon as they punish, it all just falls very easily for Poland, and now Serbia should have that 3-0 confirmation locked and loaded. A lot of pressure building now for the CT side, and you can tell that these guys, these Serbian guys are just not, their eyes on the prize. They're not as loud as some of the teams that we've had on stage so far, but I think they understand the kind of gravitas and just the seriousness of everything and really take it as slow as possible.
Exactly. I think that they're just so methodical. It's what makes them so scary. Love that. Little setup again. I mean, this is the same thing we've seen 3 rounds in a row. This first engagement, they just make sure that the trades go 1 for 2. So that they're always keeping these numbers. There should be even more behind it. These pistols aren't going to do a hell of a lot. So, Emmy, delivers. Then IGL versus IGL as Collins gets caught. And he'll add another one too on towards Mary. All down to our man, friend, USPS. It's never going to amount to all too much. So, yeah, really, really cool, calm, collected 3-0 here for Serbia. And I don't know, for Poland, the big thing we're looking towards is, of course, the investment we get now because of that orb. That is the ultimate win factor for Poland. What can we see out from Friend? We're going to get Kindo getting the orb part on the other side. This is a really flashy AWP in his own regard. I've actually managed to cast this Serbian roster in a variety of different teams, whether it was Partizan or iNation. Got to do the RMR back for Blast. If Kindo plays well with that AWP, he's seriously scary. And he knows his angles very well.
Yeah, instantaneously punishing Friend. And I know there's a lot of onus on the Polish Opera to find openings and give 5v4s for this roster, but unfortunately, Kindo gets the better of it. Looked like a solid nade, but doesn't do the damage. Instead, it's very proactive from Serbia. They realize the potential of that play. They nade open their own door smoke and get themselves a 5v3, retaining these man advantages for as long as possible, and now they just explode into the A side. Tomiko does find two, but at the end of the day, they're still finding these necessary trades to confirm the site.
Yeah, exactly. 2 versus 3, Mast. Gonna rotate over as that bomb goes down. I mean, you could even maybe talk about the idea of saving here. As weird as it does sound, I know, but it's just like no kit, no util, 2 M4s with 0 residual cash. It's just one of those where it wouldn't even be the most outlandish thing to call. This first fight could be everything. Mars jiggling round, it gets caught by Collins. Great work coming through. The IGL can't double it down there as Mary does respond well, but it's still a 1 versus 2, and he just has absolutely 0 clue where either of them are.
Yeah, well, Choi was actually lower that entire time. If Mask did kill the side player, I think that's game on, because Kindo starts having to worry about where Mary's gone off to, and then it's just all a game of cat and mouse, but it never gets that late, and unfortunately the captain could not strike. Still not off the mark just yet, 0-5. And we have another small little tech delay, but so far, you know, Serbia just looks so comfortable in their fundamentals right now.
Yeah, it's worryingly easy.
Yeah, and you know, again, we've spoken about like how Dust 2 is like considered a puggers map, but it's not really the case anymore. Where
Yeah, I don't think it is.
You really just you've got to learn the standard playbook, and you've got to learn how to run those plays in a very set and controlled manner, and you've got to have the reps to kind of show that prowess.
Yeah.
And I feel like Serbia are showing that. They're making sure that they're trading effectively, the spacing is correct, and when they do actually inevitably go onto the site, they're making sure they have favorable duels as well.
Yeah, I think Dust 2 in Go was a puggers map, and I just don't think it is anymore. Not the way that it's played kind of these days. So for me, I'm with you. I think if you don't have like a solid sort of mid to B execute, you're under a lot of pressure. If you can't do these splits via A with long and short presence in a kind of a simultaneous motion, similar thing, you're under quite a lot of pressure. So all in all for now, nice and easy. It looked like the tech issue was over towards Serbia this time, but it does feel like it's getting concluded. No, maybe not. I'm seeing some admins walk around on the stage. So we'll figure it out. Myself and Paladin, we spent the large portion of this morning. We did a bit of exploring, kind of, to a degree. Went to a recommended food joint today. Al Bake, I hope I'm not butchering that saying, but it's like a Al Bake, maybe, yeah, like a Saudi Arabian sort of KFC, but arguably better. It was good.
Yeah, I mean, it was interesting. That chicken that we had was like it's fried on the outside, and you've somehow got like spicy
sauce sort of
in there,
yeah,
into the chicken itself, and it was like genuinely such a unique concept for fried chicken. It was,
yeah,
and
then
nice.
yesterday we had sort of slightly kind of like barbecue / grilled chicken and pigeon. That was also really nice.
Yeah, that was like also very unique. I've never had pigeon before, and
it's
so
good. Yeah.
it was like that cross between chicken and like lamb.
Yeah, it's like slightly tougher chicken is how I put it. Yeah, it was nice though. It was really, really nice. We got to make sure we went around the boulevard, not Boulevard World, but the boulevard itself.
The squares.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That was nice. That was good. We got to see all that kind of Freddy Fazbear.
Yeah, we saw. We saw Freddy Fazbear. We saw these like haunted houses.
Yeah.
We saw who's that snooker guy?
Oh, Ronnie O'Sullivan's like snooker school.
Yeah.
Crazy. Yeah. Ronnie O'Sullivan is like Northern English player, like, the best snooker player of all time. But like, just like hilarious that he's even here. I was like, whoa, Ronnie, we've both made it, my man.
Really representing the country.
I know. We actually need to go. I love playing snooker, so we need to go and hit up Ronnie O'Sullivan's snooker school. But yeah, we've been chilling out. It's been good. And then I think today we're thinking about maybe Boulevard World, which is like all the different countries have got their own kind of like mini. So like there's like a small
like mini Ben.
Mini Ben, smaller Eiffel Tower. There's like a sphere, like the Las Vegas sphere sort of thing, but you can't go inside. I think it's just LEDs. Yeah, just the sphere, but like that looks pretty cool. Might go and check that out today, maybe. Depending on, I guess, how long these games take, really.
Right, yeah.
But it does close at like 1 a.m., so I think we've got a bit of time.
We've got plenty of time.
Yeah.
It's only on us if we have stamina.
True.
And actually, not even us, it's me, I think, specifically.
Yeah.
I'm not the bundle of energy that you are.
Yeah. It's very, very true. I think, though, this tech issue might take a little bit longer, and by longer, that means Neo and Paladin shut up and stop waffling. So we're going to throw this onto a little bit of a break, and we'll chill out. You guys can chill out, and hopefully we're back live as soon as.
just throw another fit. You know I can't help but this, cause they know they can never touch this. So baby, let me talk my shit, or I might just throw another fit. I might just throw another fit.
no problem. If you had a gun, shoot him in the head.
I just hit a bottle flip. I'm ready. I'm so ready. I'm so ready. I am warmed up. Apologies for the break, but in that break, I hit a bottle flip. So, welcome.
It was
back.
all worth it. It was all worth
it's
it.
all worth it in the end. I don't know if the cameras caught that, but I know me and Paladin did.
And that's what counts.
A historic moment here at IESF. As we are back live. Some Counter-Strike action on your screens. It's 4-0 Serbia. For those just joining us, what of a tech issue? We change the PCs. It can take a little bit of a moment. I mean, we've all been there, gone to LANs or whatever. It's like unplug your PC, plug it back in. It's not an easy feat. So that's done, concluded, and we're back live, ready to go. 4-0 for Serbia. Incredibly easy, I think, is probably the main talking points. They really just didn't break a sweat at all. This looked like a completely lopsided game so far. There's just not really been like anything on offer for Poland.
Well-oiled machine is how I'd describe it at this point. And Serbia looking to continue that slow-paced default to really constrict to these CTs.
The angle he's holding.
Yeah. Doesn't find anything, though. And we'll slink back in a lower relief. Collins planted in middle, and here comes that B execute.
That's a combo there as well, to be fair. Friend tags him. The MP9 bags him. Mira going to get one as ME will respond, but this scout friend does really have to go quite huge here. What's your flick like? He's still aiming lower. Tomoko going to find another with the MP9. It still feels like a decent chance in this 2 versus 4. Mars snuck his way forward. Beanox is on the brink of peering out of that smoke. And nade actually goes just a little bit deep. So Mars could get completely overlooked here. The flash is pretty good. Mars will get cleared. Another spotted in towards window, back into a 2 versus 2. Emmy is so low, 1 point of HP, and now he's all that's left. Swing, not a fine though, and it will be Poland finally getting around off the back of that tech pause. Maybe icing out Serbia just a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. I do think that there was maybe some sort of mentality shift when they came back in where they're very willing to play ahead and not let Serbia get completely settled into that default. I will say it gets a little difficult for Serbia if they can't have that mid player staying alive for as long as possible. And as soon as he falls at that early, the execution comes in, and all sites are trained in on upper tunnels, and they get all the necessary personnel into the bomb site proper, and they never let that 2v2 spiral out of control. I'm going to go back to the other end of the map now for Serbia. Get long control. The flashes are good, and the trades are effective 1-for-1. Tomiko will try to find a little bit more playing around this smoke, but again, an efficient trade from Dragon leaves us all even Stevens at a 3v3.
Friend was posted on actually a really strong angle there, but he sort of pulls off it. If he'd held just a little bit longer, he might have been able to just shut down a lot of this long presence, but does sort of opt against it. Molotov towards car, no one there. CT smoke going to get thrown too. And Serbia going to pump those brakes. They're a little cautious of a flank, and they'd be smart to think that.
Last moving on slowly and just basically boxing in this Serbian 3-play roster. And as we reach that 55-second mark, the cross smoke is replenished, and Poland will continue to be starved of that information, which is the important part. And as this happens, it's that classic long crawl, and all 6 players alive will be here as the end of this round comes to be.
It's going to be quite an important fight here. Nade going to bank in towards ramp. There's a bit of damage there on top of the boxes themselves, but the trade benefit that of Poland, and they go 2 for 2 in actually 2 very important rounds, because that will hinder the Econ now to a degree. There's like enough money for Kindo to buy, but then even getting supporting rifles around is a little awkward. So we'll change it up here in terms of maybe what this buy is actually going to look like for Serbia. It might be a little awkward. Somebody's going to have to take a hit somewhere. It's going to be Emmy. I mean, that sort of makes sense in a way. If anybody's going to take the lesser buy, it probably would be Emmy. So just a Tech 9 for him. And then we get, of course, the, 3 Galils? And Kindo out with that AWP. It's like a workable and slightly feasible buy, but it's still, you have to be a little cautious with this one, because it's quite the risk. If you lose it, economy broken, and actually pretty Poland not only tying the game up, it might be even for a chance taking a lead.
Yeah, here I would probably skip a phase of a default here from Serbia. And, you know, I don't think you have the bells and whistles to take Cat comfortably and go back lower and have a mid to B split.
Yeah.
I think you've really just got to commit to a play, have Emmy be that sacrificial lamb and just trade, which has been very effective for this T side so far. They've got Kindo on the AWP and they have a head-to-head with Friend, but both oppers misses their shots. And that slows the opening gambit out for both teams here to start things in round number 7. Beenox leaning in with Friend all onto this B side of the map, which Serbia have really been focused on trying to establish that mid to B split again and again. But Poland have adapted, and that shows that Serbia are going to have to find some other answers to the problem at hand.
Yeah, I feel like they can't really just rely now on sort of Poland overfacing and then hoping that they can punish, as what was working for them earlier. So Molotov over towards that short box, just in case anybody was tucked over towards the wall. This is a good angle.
Oh.
Shadow spotted. Dragon will relay this information over, but he doesn't want to peek just yet. I'm assuming they double swing this, but oh, it's just Dragon alone. Lovely swing, lovely find. Smoke as well. Gives it this opportunity now at a B split, and it's only masked over there. And I mean, if you're being honest, if you want to fight anybody, it would be Mars. He's going to play inside of the smoke, but it's going to dissipate momentarily. He needs to be careful. Tech 9, spotting, tagging, and it will be Choice spamming to deliver. That's the round done. 5v3, B-side taken, CT smoked. You've got to save it, I think, in Poland. There's no point giving this a go.
I've really got to give credit to Emmy there. Great call. Again, as I mentioned before, simplified phases of the default. You only had one phase of it. It's just immediate commit to that mid to B split. They utilize every smoke as efficiently as possible. Of course, it helps the Dragon gets a crazy entry like that, just walking out dry mid and finding the necessary frag. Isolating that side anchor of Mast on the B bomb side. And they can tell that he's feeling uncomfortable, that he's still yet to really get going, you know, mechanically.
Yeah.
And they're bullying him as much as possible, even though a retake was done in those initial 2 rounds that Poland were able to nab. Serbia have not let go of that idea, and it's netting them a bounce back round here with that 5th on this T side.
Yeah, I love the idea about the hunt here as well. No one dies, which is a real positive over towards Serbia, and Poland only survive with 1. Now, they themselves got to rebuy back in, sure, but it's the issue where the economic situation is slightly flipped, because now you've got kind of where Poland on the brink of being sort of broken in terms of their finances, where Serbia do have a little bit in reserves, plus what they kept over or picked up in upgrades from that previous round. All in all, can't complain at all. Serbia, for me, I think even 6 rounds T-side is generally seen sort of more than enough. Anything more would be a real luxury.
I think it's definitely feasible. Ooh, Kindo actually giving a little bit of a shoulder there from Beenox. Don't necessarily know if that was intentional, but either way, he gets information. He gets that opening play from Serbia under lock and key, and that means Emmy will call for a reset, essentially. They'll claim lower control, try to establish the mid-presence, and try to get Kindo activated into another opening play. But right now, Poland allowing the play to come to them. Friend not necessarily as aggressive as you saw the couple of punishes from Kindo initially in this half.
Yeah, he's looked a little muted, Friend, in all fairness.
He's getting neutralized very effectively.
Yeah, you know, this is one of those things. I've costed these guys both sides a lot. I would probably say that as much as Friend has really been stellar so far this tournament, Kindo, you have to really keep an eye on him. He's equally as flashy and equally as impactful. They're both young. They're both kind of these talents who want to prove it in their kind of domestic rosters. So keep an eye out for him. But Friend's having a really good round here as he gets that second nice shot on towards Kindo, who's trying to crab walk his way around that corner. You probably actually wanted to swing out there a little bit more confidently just to get the control over towards blue. But he doesn't. Now into 3. Little tough for Serbia. They might want to fight a little drier here in terms of their setup. Mary is waiting. The first isn't great as Choi delivers well. And he actually makes the second behind it, which is a pistol of Mast all alone on the site. He can't even pick an upgrade. And Choi lightning fast around that corner. What a round he's had, and single-handedly flipped the script and probably won this one for them.
It's ridiculous that Choi can get away with that. I mean, great work from Friend, staying as proactive as possible.
Yeah.
Moving in from Cat, getting that short pick, moving back over to long side, finding that control. And you're thinking at that point, you know, Serbia don't really have any options. They somehow have some sort of mid-control and just go barreling through. Every entry working out in their favor. And now Poland, all that good work to get those 2 rounds on the board, start moving the momentum back, all falls right at the seams.
It's true. 6-2, coming forward, and I'm really concerned about Poland. I mean, the Des touched on this. This is a map in which Serbia are yet to play here, but Partizan do play this map. And this is a map in which they have had a little bit. I've caught these guys on the iNation playing this way back in Go.
Yeah, it's been a staple.
Yeah,
for sure,
I'm trying to think. What were they before iNation? Because you remember there was another org when iNation went away and they were something else. And it was basically the same lineup, wasn't it? It was like Choiv, Emmy. Oh, no, actually, Emmy went to China for a bit, didn't he? Emmy and Roger were playing over in Tyloo, the old Tyloo. And it was, yeah, it was Emmy. It was Roger was the coach. Emmy was the IGL, and they played. It was the
Chinese team. I don't know if it was Tyloo.
I thought it was. I thought it was the old Tyloo before they went back to. No, it wasn't. It was Rare Atom, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's.
Yeah, it was Rare Atom.
Right.
It was Rare Atom. But they went away for a little bit. But even still, back in the day, this core still played this up a hell of a lot. I'm trying to think. What were they called way back when?
Oh, you are right. It was Tyloo. Yeah.
Oh, what can I say, man? That's my knowledge back in the day. It was like
Pompa?
Pompa, yeah. But it was a Tyloo just before they then went back to being a proper Tyloo team.
Yeah.
They like took this gamble being sort of, it was like 2 EU and then 3 Asian players, I think, am I right saying?
Yeah, it was definitely a risk. Oh my goodness,
Oh my God, hang on a second.
triple on the 5-7, and sure, the trade is there, but damage already done. Friend's op still alive, so now you heavily favor the CTs, even if the long crawl is possible. You're gonna need some cracking headshots from the captain, who's been serviceable here so far on Dust 2, it has to be said.
Well, in this 2 versus 4, it should be made 1. It should be made 1, but it's not. That's actually a little bit of an oversight from Mary coming forward. There's Emmy will be able to answer. Choi posted with AWP. Doesn't always wield it, but he can secondary. Dragon also can secondary open the side as well. Of course, Kindo being that primary. Both Kindo and Dragon dead, so Choi will pick it up. Time is ticking. Of the essence, Choi will get yet another. He bailed him out the previous round. This time, he's doing it again. Choi, Emmy, combination play is sumptuous with 8 seconds to spare. Bomb going to go down. And it does feel like maybe the round, I don't know, but I assume Friend was actually spotted out there. So in this 1 versus 1, he's going to go up towards short, and Emmy taps away. He's just trying to keep the pressure on. Jumping, Kukli feels like maybe the bailout and the potential of how they're going to find this round in their favor. Friend is the shot, and it's also Scrappy, just going to buy some time. There is a kit, there is a chance. Oh, the no-scope's going to connect as well, Friend. It's a sigh of relief, but if we're being honest, a 2 versus 4 never should have been a 1 versus 1.
Yeah, it got real dicey there. Solid smokes to allow for that cross to happen. They cut noise even with the time crunch in full effect, but either way, Friend with a blinder of a no-scope to keep them in this. 3rd round now found for Poland, and you know, with that eco being one or that force buy, there's still so much cash for Serbia to burn through. And they'll have basically now the icing of this half. If they can get 7, 8, they'll be loving life. Watch this mid push.
Oh, he came off the angle, Kindo. He unscoped. And that allows Friend to get aggro. Friends get that first. And this is actually where the script feels like it's flipping a bit, because Kindo actually had Friend's number for so long, but Friend is getting so much. He's doing so damn well. Emmy will pick up that AWP, and he will punish. So Friend limited, but to 2, that's already arguably job done for him.
Yeah, he's done his job, definitely. But Emmy now will continue to don the AWP here. Not many rifles on the ground, so he's kind of forced into this situation.
He's not bad with it.
No, not at all.
Rolling back the years, some serious years, a decade, but rolling
yeah,
back the years.
Plenty. I mean, he can post up here in middle and just try to hit that post-up shot and it'll be fine. Maybe then he can switch back over to a rifle, but they'll continue to take this mid-space. It's been so kind to them throughout this half.
The main man they're looking towards in this one to kind of bail them out is Choiv here. Choiv's been the impact man, he's been the multi-fragger, and they actually need at least a couple from him if they even want a chance. It's not easy though. They really, like you said, they've got mid, but it's now the question of where do we go from here?
They need Dragon Smoke to be put up, and then only they can safely cross. Sure, Tomiko will make it back eventually, but they've crossed safely. They've crossed silently, and with 30 seconds left on the clock, there has to be a duel, and that's one that's paramount for Mass to win. It puts all the pressure onto the remaining players. Dragon can't find the necessary kill, and Mass has a critical double kill here to showcase that this B split will not just be free time in and time out.
Yeah, that's it. So, 6-4, and it will be where Poland are chipping away just a little bit. Enough, I think, is probably the main thing. If they can make this, even if it's like a worst case scenario for Poland, like a 7-5, I think that's really feasible. A 6-6 would be great, especially considering that the buy is slightly awkward for Serbia. We're going for that. What actually is the meta these days, which is when you're on a low buy like this, is actually have one hero AK, and then that person take a bit of a hit towards the next. So 1 AK on Dragon. And there's a bit of armor to go around too. Choiv's got some as well, so if Dragon does die, Choiv's going to pick it up and continue trying to utilize it. The big thing they want is, can Dragon get an opening kill and drop a gun for somebody to pick up?
Yeah. At this point, you want him to go second in pretty much every time.
Yeah.
Even though you are losing bodies, you're keeping that rifle alive. And Choiv as well, I would like to think will play a little bit more safely just to be that insurance policy. But Friend has got so many sight lines to take care of, and a flick that would have had to been necessary, but doesn't even register it in time. Dragon is so quick with it, and that's a key piece of that Poland defense down for the count. Short control already established. Things look mighty fine here for Serbia in the 5v4.
Yeah, we got 2 smokes and a flash. We're actually not in a bad spot really at all. There's one of the flashes. Where are these smokes going to be used is what I'm asking. Or are we just going to go dry? Yeah, like we said, you've called that absolutely perfect there. Dragon goes second in. They use the first guy with a pistol. I think everyone else saying it was Emmy, who just jumps across over towards Gandalf, draws the attention away, Dragon swing, Dragon find. I mean, it's so simple, it's so effective, and this is actually why the meta has changed, and now having somebody pick up some sort of premium rifle, even though you know that we lose this round, I'm not going to have a gun in towards the next. Massive, massive round coming forward from Serbia. And the fact that they're going to do it near flawlessly, I mean, even if Collins dies, I mean, who cares? He doesn't! It's a P250, and he makes that one work.
No armor as well on 28 health. That's genuinely just a rabbit out of the hat type of a kill there for Collins. And you go back to the demo and you watch that if you're Poland, you'll be kicking yourself.
Look how many guns we picked up. 2 more. Oh wow, 1 more gun picked up.
It's irrelevant though.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
You've gotten so much cash off of that eco.
And Dragon planted too, so we got even a little bit more.
Yeah, it's great situation there for Serbia. And sure, even if a 7-5 comes through, it'll still leave a little bit of a sour taste considering there are a couple of gimme rounds on that comeback.
But at least they give themselves a really decent, kind of fair opportunity to
Right,
actually make it an 8-4.
there is a silver lining that we can talk about, genuinely.
So, credit where it's due. On the Serbia side,
BXE?
liking what I'm seeing. They love the BXE, especially because on the other side it's Marst, and stop beating around the bush. He's not exactly the strongest player over towards that Polish side, right? So, if you're going to punish anybody, it probably would be him. That's an unfortunate leg. It's a great nade.
Yeah, spam nade combo was beautiful.
Oh, I don't like this.
Yeah.
In the smoke here by Mars, one spam and he dies here. But he's going to push through, and they're not holding for it. And nobody's even reacting well enough to trade. Really actually well played from Mars. He gets so fortunate there.
Yeah, he's playing the risk, right? He knows that there's not really much that he can do into the late round. Maybe he plays a headshot angle, but maybe he can get a kill on the way out, or at least information. They saw the bomb being dropped, and now Poland can reorient and restructure around that bomb being planted, or that bomb being dropped, rather. Here comes a flash in to proc this Tomiko push. He'll find one, figures out the shoulder of a second, and he'll find the third as well. Beautiful round there from Tomiko as Poland will equip themselves a fifth round.
Yeah, at least it's a bit of a recovery and kind of a bit of a positive note for us to talk about in that sense. It was looking like we could have at one point had an incredibly one-sided half, and we didn't. So there was a recovery of some degree coming forward. It is more just about this pistol round is still uber important for Poland. We lose this pistol round, there's an incredibly good chance of probably seeing Serbia up to like a 9-5. Even then, your chances are of making this work for you do slim out super quickly.
Smoke flash here for Mass. Tomiko on the Hero P250, the Raid Boss P250.
Yeah.
And a lot of utility for the CT. So interesting to see this, especially with the mid push in play. We'll see how they utilize these bits and bobs as this round progresses.
Yeah, quite a bit of util over towards Serbia too, and Dragon's got the Julies, if I'm right in saying those are. The Julie, Smoke, Armor. He's sort of the raid boss on the other side.
And look at how much information he's getting.
Yeah.
It's false information, mind you. Two players sitting outside of the upper tunnels, and Friend will find the punish. And meanwhile, the long crawl is working perfectly for Poland. I think they can pause here and wait for that smoke to drop and then cross together as a unit.
Kindo, is he going to get flash through here? No. Pulls back, goes over towards short. I do like the reposition because he has an opportunity here to try and do something, but he's just not going to get below him. Look down. No, he doesn't. He doesn't get punished either, so I guess it's not the end of the world. 3 versus 4, and they're all going for a B hit just because of that earlier play by Friend, who doesn't pounce. That's so smart from Friend.
Beautiful.
Don't give away the ruse.
And they actually pick up a smoke, I believe, to deploy that repeat cross. And that allows for the bomb to safely travel into the site. Plan to secure. Friend will find another.
Oh.
And Kindo will hit the deck as well. All up to Emmy here, and Poland with a really well-called pistol. Just the snakes in the grass outside of upper tunnels to punish a little bit of aggression earlier from Serbia, and it comes back to haunt them.
Yeah, fantastic round coming forward. And I really do think as well, we've kind of given ourselves a good chance here for Poland. They should, force by or not, should get a 7th here, just because of the wealth of firepower they got on their side. Double AK, double Glil, Mach 10, full better util. We're going to go for that force buy for Serbia. Dragon coming in with the Nova is a wild decision.
I see what he was trying to do. He was trying to push lower as soon as possible. But that Molotov is perfect.
It's actually the standard setup now, and I like it because when Dust 2 got brought back into the map pool, the default is what we always use the default on Go, which is Xbox smoke or door smoke. And now everyone's like, screw that. Like, why don't we just molly it and then we can just push our way forward?
Well, the CTs have that extra, that boost of timing to get into lower faster, right? But a lot of the Ts were just okay and content with just not mauling it because they would not, CTs would not use that part of the map as often. They were terrified to actually push through because of suicide presence, but it still worked out very wonderfully for them.
Agreed.
And now that that meta molly is in, you can't have those crazy SMG shotgun purchases to work out as splendidly as they're hoping. And look at this all-in approach. 4 players on this B bomb site. No cat presence, not even an early warning sign to suggest there's cat presence.
Yeah.
And with this, Poland can do so much with the map.
It's a kind of B split smoke thrown, but it doesn't mean they have to commit to it. Still got short control, but at least with that smoke, they might be tempted to just have a look in towards mid and see what pops up. The bigger they've got to hope is that Emmy feigns enough presence that they're thinking, okay, it's an A stack. And another mid to B smoke that comes through. Yeah, they're going towards the stack here. Smoke over towards door. That's from the CT side, but this can actually work in their favor. Time is ticking, 20 seconds. We've got to get moving, and Collins sits below. Nova will deliver. 5-7 adds it as well to the tally. Can't double it down, but time is still of the essence. They've just got to stop fighting, because Mary is catching heads, catching bodies, and putting them 6 feet under. 2 versus 2. Mary so low, and it's all down to 1 man as Emmy's got himself a Galil. On the site himself, Mary finds, and he will fall. They know where the last guy is. Flash gonna come over. He sort of wants to fight here, but Friend will win it out. He keeps stepping up. He keeps clutching for Poland. And they're getting loud, dude.
I think Mass was started waving at Serbia after that 2v4. That was a 2v4 from Poland, and it all has to give. I have to give most of the credit there to Mary.
Yeah.
Finding a triple in kind of crunch time. It's 20 seconds left on the clock. All the pressure on Poland to make a move. They have to commit to B at that point. There's no reroute available, and as soon as he's getting offered up those kills, he capitalizes every single time. And he actually gets that perfect plant spot as well. A player in upper, a player in car. And there's just no way to deny the plan. They just have to witness it right before them.
You know what that means, though? Another failed force buy. Just going to add that one to the tally. Now for EU.
Yeah, you're grinning from ear to ear that kind of clutch could come out, right?
85 failed, 22 successful. Stats don't look good. Nearly 4 times as many failed as successful.
The campaign is working. You gotta get to Seattle at this point.
Yeah. This is I love this sort of propaganda machine I'm pushing of this.
Yeah.
But you know
Valve
what?
are trying to silence you.
I think part of what I want to do with these stats is actually, get, for example, the likes of Collins and be like, what's your decision making? Why? Like, why do you go for this? I know it was close, but you still lost. Nova's still not losing.
You made it work, finally.
Hey, 2 for 2, right? Got killed last time with it. I don't even know what the kill bonus is with Nova. Is it still 600?
It's still the regular shotgun, yeah.
600 is it?
Should be, yeah.
I think it's only the XM that got reduced, right? That got reduced to 300, I think.
Yeah.
So, hey, that's good money in the pocket for Dragon. I mean, if he even gets one more, we can actually talk about them getting in towards the AWP part for him. So, we'll take that, absolutely. He's still just being a nuisance as well, just like popping him through smokes and stuff. But this should be a one round for Poland. We've got what is, for the most part, a minimal buyout for Serbia. There's only really one gun you have to be worried about.
Yeah, if they can get some cheeky upgrade pistol kills, headshots, and throw a spanner in the works of this execute, maybe you might get a little dicey. And here comes a couple of boosts as well, and there it is. Emmy chiming in, he spots a couple of more heads, and he hits another dink. Things start to get a little bit scary here for Poland, but Mary and Tomiko slowing things down. Dragon with that Nova from long range will get a little bit less potent. Beanox will shut down Collins, and now it's all onto Dragon. Actually upgrades, I guess, if you want to call it an upgrade to a
side
Mac 10.
grade.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it's probably better in this retake situation. Doesn't have a kit, but does have a smoke. I doubt anybody had a kit over towards Serbia as well, so it feels incredibly unlikely, especially as time is ticking. He's trying to fight as well, and Beanox does have to be a little careful. Oh, the pixel was sort of showing, but the Mac 10 only gets damage. There's a couple of silver linings there for Serbia in terms of how expensive they make it, just to keep that Polish economy in check, but it is still Poland for the first time this game into a lead.
It must feel great for Poland at this point, ever since they've win that 2v4, just to feel a lot more confident in how they're playing these defaults.
Yes, yeah.
And that game plan is starting just to look a lot more well drilled. Now long control being a priority here for Poland. Corner smoke comes out. Tomiko gets ahead of it. They tried to nade open the smoke, and it's actually net positive. They go 1 for 1, and Kindo elsewhere will also find a kill to equalize on the B end. So wonderful work here for Serbia to have a man advantage and to put the onus on Poland to start taking a couple of risks. And this is one of them. Friend alone in middle, searching for a pick.
This is big. If Friend can get a kill here, that might be a chance. Dragon, he turned that step, and he will confirm an easy one. This gun round, if it goes successful, especially if they only take a few casualties, but it might still be a bit of a hard fought end here. I mean, the big worry is that Kindo's so low that he has to be a little cautious, hence why he's playing at range, but tapping away. It is seen off, and nicely done by Dragon on that rotate. Game tied square, 8-all. Two very evenly matched sides here. I mean, the big talking point is that if Poland take this map, it actually does throw a spanner in the works, because Nuke's pretty good for them.
Yeah, I mean, Nuke has always been something that they want to use as a punish pick, just because of, as we spoke about on the desk a couple of times, just the mix aspect of Serbia, where you don't have all the necessarily bells and whistles in terms of that map pool.
Yeah.
And that's where Poland can kind of flex themselves here in this best of 3. But Serbia not shy, even with all those hiccups so far on the CT side. Staying proactive, nading open the smoke, that long corner smoke to get involved. Trading very well, even though we've switched sides. And now Kindo is starting to move around a little bit more as well. Mid-door smoke comes through, so short control established here for Poland. And now Serbia will start to lean a little bit more heavily on that A-end in anticipation of an AXE.
Yeah, the desk touched on this as well about how...
That's just right.
Yeah, they're going in for fights here, and it might actually not work in their favour. The first is good by Collins. I'll come back to that point in a moment as the AWP will come in for support to Collins. Does a very good job. He just has to stay alive for a little bit, but Master's given the luxury of an AWP pickup, and in the low buy, maybe a chance. Oh no, this is not looking good. The bomb's on the site. That gets that luxury of a plant. Where are we going here for Master? He's going for a long rotate, and this will cost him his life. So all down to 1 versus 2. Scout in play, goes for a pop shot. He knows where both are now. One was top mid, one was in towards CT. Spotted,
No!
but he just ducks himself in towards a nade. And it will be Serbia surviving. Honestly, a real scare there. Orp going to go get recovered. That's good. And it will, of course, be a rifle alongside it. I don't think there's an AK for me to upgrade to, but it doesn't really matter in the end. Now, come on, I was saying, the devs are touching on this. So the core of this team, in that of Emi, Kindo, Dragon, and Collins playing on the Partisan, they've actually only played this map once in the last 4 months. They touched map against Aurora Youngblood. They lost to them. Aurora Youngblood, they're not like amazing, but they do have these like moments where these youngsters can look pretty good. But it is sort of one of these things where for Serbia, it is like a gamble of like, what have we been cooking in our spare time, which is what's given us the confidence to pick here against this Polish, i.e. Permitter side.
I think it goes beyond just what they've been cooking and more so just wanting to trust their individuals to start nailing shots. And
There we go.
you know, there it is. Proof is in the pudding. Kindo still looks sharp here. Hasn't had the opportunities to capitalize with those good looks, but can find it. Yeah, that was great actually.
Trying my hardest to bring down the vibe here as Pinox,
Classic.
he brings on the vibe himself. Just pushes the smoke there. I don't really think we need to be doing that. MP9 up close. That's only going one way. And this buy has been put into bed very comfortably. Serbia lock in double digits. 2 rounds ahead, 3 rounds away. Getting close now. I mean, you look at this and say for Poland, we've basically got 2 full buys left, but arguably like 1 full buy and maybe like 2 forces, which is what a lot of teams do if they take a gamble. So Poland are actually in a dicey predicament.
Yeah, and you've got Mass on a Tech 9 as well. And I think I'll talk about this as this best of 3 continues, but that head-to-head in IGLs,
Yeah.
I think even on the Mass end of things, he's also really struggled. He's gone through so many different iterations along this Primitive side, now representing Poland, where he opted for a little bit, couldn't make it work. He decided to opt IGL. It actually got even worse in some senses individually.
Yeah.
And now he's just rifling and allowing for Friend to take the reins. And while there is that bump in firepower at the sniper role, he's still got to hold his own mechanically, and he really struggled on that defense. So far, Emi, though, I feel offensively had a lot of really impactful rounds.
Agree.
And here on the CT side as well, outputting enough of a stream to keep it alive for players like Dragon, players like Kindo to really output as well.
This is something that we've sort of joked about like on our podcast, shout out to 2.5 Talent one time, where we kind of like, when we've been talking about IGLs, we say all we look for is a 1 rating.
Yeah.
And that's something that Emi's doing, not so much for Mars. 1 for 1 here as Friend finds a full blind kill. Spam on the exact smoke, but Serbia are going to give them this control. They're just going to pull away and just say, this is not for us. Not a fight that we really want to be taking. You can have this, but Dragon going to re-aggress elsewhere. And this is great, but only if he goes into suicide. Yeah, if he starts moving this way forward, he might not clear his angle, and it's a left eye peak, so he's actually always going to lose it. Collins still responds, still keeps the numbers here. And it's all about the smoke. We spotted the head, but he didn't.
Unfortunate situation there.
I don't think the radar would have given that
Yeah,
over either.
I'm thinking so. It genuinely would have been a lot spotted on his end, but not to be. Long crawl cannot come through, and they completely freeze Poland. They've still got plenty of time to reroute if they choose. They don't have a flank to have to be worried about. But in case they do want to go in through long, that car position had to be cleared, and neither player in that engagement comes out the better.
No.
Somehow, Collins lives on 5 HP. Friend will be kicking himself there, and that means Poland have to commit to B. They have to commit through, but Emmy is here. The captain, the old vet, nearly steps through with the double, but Collins will confirm it with the nade, and Serbia climb up to 11 rounds.
If Serbia win this, I need them to start waving back over towards Poland.
Oh, it would be beautiful, wouldn't it?
I need it. That'll fuel me. But, I mean, honestly, that round for me is one off the back of that Collins play. How in God's name, with 15 points of HP and a molly at your feet, do you then swing out, avoid it, and then hit a double headshot?
And that's the ruin of rotations, potentially. Yep. You might call back one of those mid players back into A, maybe even the B anchor leaves. It's all up in the air there. So 5 HP, definitely a big differing factor between these two teams in round number 19. But here in round number 20, it's all pistols for Poland, trying to barrel their way through, brute force their way into long, and they're going to flash in.
Oh, yeah.
But the lineup is clean from Troy. Blind or not, bomb at his feet. And all the onus on Poland to try and climb back in. But it's just not to be the case. We're getting real desperate, and Kindo's getting stylish here. No scope onto the captain. And Poland, they're really running out of gas here, Neo.
Yeah, Choiv doesn't need eyes, just instincts. Spidey senses tingling away as he gets that second, and Dragon. Friend peeks into the spray, so it really doesn't get much worse than that. This might be a flawless round as well, as Mary is low and on the precipice of death. Spotted, does get a dink off, but it makes absolutely no difference ultimately. 12-8, Serbia look great. There was this hiccup at the start of the half, but since the guns have come into play, it's actually really only been one-way traffic. It's been simple, it's been effective, and it's been, as we saw in that first half, it's been pretty easy Counter-Strike being played by the Serbian roster. I just don't think Poland have, I actually don't think that they have a depth. I mean, this is what I came back to when we spoke about this a little bit earlier. I just think if times get a little tougher towards Serbia, we can fall back on a very strong rifling core. I just don't think Poland have that, not in comparison.
They've also not found really any answers macro-wise. You know, for Serbia's T side, they found that B split working so effectively, even just straight B executions working very effectively. And unfortunately for Poland, there isn't that weak link that they've been able to punish. We mentioned it before the map started that, you know, we had our question marks about Emmy, and he's doing everything that he needs to right now. That
it's true.
There really isn't that kind of like weak point that you would just keep pressuring if you're masked. So a lot of question marks to be asked in between map break here, and we'll see if they can potentially make a comeback here, make this a little bit more doable. But right now, Serbia just feels so in the zone.
Yeah.
All the rotations, the communication flowing. It's all up to Friend to find an opener. The pre-fire was there, but the shot not connecting. But they still go 2 for 1, Neil.
Oh, Molotov does a bit of damage, but yeah, it still is. Now a level playing field once again. We've got no B presence here. It looks like we're going to go for a quicker B play from Poland. This might be a full retake, and B-side Dust 2 we know is so difficult to retake itself that I mean, they've got the money to give it a go. So why not?
Yeah, have a look in. Why not? I mean,
Dragon's quick on the rotator here, actually. This is doable. And they don't have the util in the post plant for Poland. This makes things very, very difficult for them. Mary holding, double swing. He's going to hit the back. And I think he just clips him through the wall there. So damage dealt, but still a lot of this feels like it's up to Choiv. He has to do a lot of work coming through window or door. They have some kits to work with. They still have a HE, smoke and a flash as well. So it's not impossible. Swing's good for the first. They clear that close angle. It's a double backside play. And the AWP is spotted. Hits the hand, and it's enough damage. Last man on fast. The IGL gonna go huge. Can he lead by example? Tap on towards the bomb. Pistol trying to hold as well, and he might just get it. Oh, Mast. That is a huge 1 versus 3, but a crucial misplay from Serbia.
How in God's name does Collins not confirm that kill? Poland just scrape by, live to fight another day, and we talked about captain leadership, individual prowess there from Mass. He's been quiet this entire map, but finally steps up when it matters most. And, you know, we've seen hiccups from Serbia here and there on a macro level, or maybe even on a micro level, but they've always been able to find a way to bounce back individually. We'll see if that remains to be the case here, but pace, the name of the game from Poland. Friend goes charging out, and while he died in the previous, here he connects.
Yeah, you know it. You know, we've sort of said it. There's been a lot of questions asked about Mast, and he's answered, so credit to him. But I think the big thing that we're asking is, actually, can they now utilize this into a bit of consistency at the tail end? Can they push this towards an elusive over time? Well, Tomoko going to get caught, will change things, and Dragon takes a dink through that door, but that fight, that 2-for-1 play is so important. A Molotov behind it, both over towards short and doors, limits the positions that Poland can play from here. Mary sort of has to go for 2 here, but the orb is good for 1, and he's going to get another. This is what we were saying. You can talk all you want about Friend, but Kindo can go bar for bar with him. This is a young Orpo with exactly the same style of play that Friend likes to do with the orb, but Kindo at times, arguably, could even have a higher ceiling. The way he plays, so confident. Friend is far from over just yet. 1v4 to 1v3, just shy of 40 seconds.
It's not happening.
It's not happening. He's got 10 points of
right?
HP. Yeah.
And then you have a crossfire set up from lower and top short. You even have an
hear him
insurance
as well.
policy from Kindo all the way back in case one player dies. So, of course, Serbia will close it out. And just that individual flair allowing for them to just kickstart their way back in to this map of Dust 2. It was a gamble to pick into this map, but it pays off in dividends. And now we move into Nuke, and it can just be a Hail Mary for them. They can play without any worry about the results, knowing that they have that bank third map locked in.
It's absolutely true. And this is, we was sort of touched about it in the break, and I was saying, I do actually feel like Serbia have the kind of gall about them to actually be able to take a 2-0 here. They have the depth, they have the players, and again, it comes down to small things like, I think the rifling core is a bit better over towards Serbia. I think Kindo can go kind of band for band with Friend, right? That's the thing. I think when we've seen Friend previously in the groups, not a lot of Orpos can actually stand up to him because of his experience recently, the numbers he's been putting up. Kindo actually can, and I think we've already just seen it there as well. So, and the calling was really solid. Emmy's impact has always been something that we've looked at as a worry, but I think he looked fantastic there. So a really good Dust 2 coming out from Serbia. Of course, Nuke is up next. We've got the Death to break down that map here.
Yes, indeed, Serbia take the first strike in this series, and we've learned 2 things, chaps. Firstly, Partizan should play some more Dust 2, and secondly, Kindo on the AWP looks just fine. No problems at all. He looks like he's played it his whole life, frankly.
Yeah, no, again, very comfortable. When needed to, again, didn't see it as much on the C side as we did on the CT. That kind of tracks, though, as well. And it wasn't really much of a need, especially given how we saw Serbia actually play. Again, Paul didn't touched on it. They kind of found something that worked for them, and that was pressuring that B area of the map, whether it was through B splits or through just straight up contact plays or executes up on the B side. And that was a winning recipe. We could tell that Poland were definitely struggling to find any sort of similar weakness in the defense of Serbia. After getting pistol and kind of converting those rounds, there wasn't a whole lot to write home about for Poland's T side.
I think that is what I like about Serbia as a team, is that they're not always trying to play perfect team-based CS. They're just kind of trying to find what is going to work over and over again and just rinse and repeat. And sometimes that's actually the best way to play Counter-Strike. Find a weakness of your opponent and just exploit it. And I do think Poland maybe should have adapted a little sooner, but credit to them. You keep running it until you get stopped. They didn't get stopped. And as you said, it was not really anything too overly complicated, just a lot of these grouped up plays, splitting the sites at the right times, quite often towards B, and there was even a couple of rounds where Choivy was really good, and he was one of the players we weren't sure massively what to expect from individually. Well, on T side, he had a couple of rounds cracking open sites with headshots, and then he was locking down A long on CT side as well in a couple of those moments. So seeing him come through, definitely good to see. And then in that second half, Poland win the pistol, and then they just start getting shut down.
The rifling core for this Serbia team is so strong. Frankly, they were born to play T-side of Dust 2. Was this team, it suits them so much. I appreciate the next map is Nuke, which doesn't quite play the same, but I am fearful, Vendetta, for Poland in this series, just on a raw individual angle, because Serbia look brilliant at the moment.
They do look really good, but I guess that's where Nuke kind of comes into favor for Poland as well. It's a very team-centric map. It's going to allow for you to, I guess, in some ways, hide the individual lacking, compared to Serbia at times, and you can actually make up for that by actually having solid coordinated CT sides, whether it is through playing passive or aggressive. Same thing, obviously, with how you execute on your T side. So that is going to be the win condition really for Poland on a map like Nuke. They have played, like these cores have played against each other, albeit a couple of months ago on Nuke as well, and Poland won that pretty handily. Things obviously have developed since then, and again, it could be down to daily form as well. A lot of factors that come into play. But again, they should stand a better chance of actually being into fight, because even though the results might tell you, like, okay, Poland were in this the entire time, it didn't really feel like that. This felt like it was just a matter of time before Serbia got wraps over the game and kind of just took us across the finish line. They started off with a 4-0 lead, then the tech timeouts kind of took the momentum out of them, and that's how Poland got a couple of rounds in on their CT side, but it always felt like Serbia had this in the bag.
Yeah, if Poland didn't win that second half pistol, I think they would have been almost entirely locked out, because the only other round they won was off a pretty ridiculous play. So I think that kind of made the scoreline look a little closer than perhaps it should have. I think the only positives for Poland are, again, it's those same players showing up, maybe not quite as much as they did previously, but Friend was there. He was solid when he had the AWP. He got the AWP a few more times than I thought he might, actually. So that was good to see, because that will be nice going into the next map. And then actually in this one, Beanox did play a little better. We're finally getting to see him. He's meant to be one of the stars of this team. I think we finally started to see that come through. But I think sometimes, especially here on Dust 2, and the reason why Nuke might be better for them is if you have that position where you have just a weak player as a B-site anchor, it just loses you rounds. It just does. Yeah. Whereas on Nuke, unless you don't even have the protocols on A, like, you should be fine. If you get A rushed, yeah, you can lose rounds quickly, but that shouldn't really be happening on Nuke. As long as you just have the simple nades, you should be fine. And then Serbia are going to have to do a little more than they did here on Dust 2 on that T side.
Yeah, I think just from a strategical point of view, this is like, Nuke requires a whole lot more out of Serbia. They can't necessarily be as efficient by just finding one go-to strategy, or it shouldn't be, at least. I guess we saw it in the women's tournament with Sweden versus Poland. Sweden were able to kind of run stock default wall of smokes and kind of run with that for quite some time before we saw any adaptation, but that shouldn't be allowed for Serbia. And again, given the fact that, as we saw here on this map, they are very happy to just kind of let their individuals have a bit of a peek and see what happens. If they're not able to win those out and necessarily move with that space that they created immediately, Nuke gets really, really tough. And I think Poland, again, they should be able to kind of hide any sort of weaker points, if that's, the rep defender or something. Quite easy rotation for Friend with an op to make it over there in time most of the time. To kind of shore up defenses and whatnot. So Poland has a lot more going for them. I think it's going to be a more difficult task for Serbia to break down any team really on Nuke, but especially Poland in this instance.
Very quick update on our concurrent game. That is Sweden-Mongolia. Sweden won map 1. That was Mongolia's pick. They're live now with Mirage. We heard some screaming from Mongolia, so I assume it's going decently for them. But let's stay on our game. What do we want from Permitter here on map 2? We say maybe there's an individual deficit, so they have to find advantages elsewhere. That's got to be strategically. And the other thing is, going forward in this tournament, this will happen again. They will play other teams with very strong individuals. What do we need to see from Permitter to convince us that they're competitive maybe for the title here?
For this one, especially when it comes to Nuke, it's got to be the strategical side of it. Again, show me that you have a very T side. Show me that you're not going to run basically like a diagonal wall for 12 rounds in a row and then just kind of hope to find picks, but that you actually have some protocols off it. Like, what do you do? Like, do you have an efficient answer for something if you play against a team that over-rotates towards lower? Do you have like a solid way to actually grab heaven control and kind of wrap in for upper site executes mid-round, that kind of thing? Like, I just want to see varied playstyle from the Polish side. That's going to give me belief to think that they at least have a map that they can go to in each best-of-3 series that they should be favored in. And from that point on, you've already gotten yourself into a really, really good position.
Especially because on that T side of Dust 2, I know they didn't get maybe all the rounds they would have wanted, like they didn't get as many chances, but towards the end there, it felt like they pretty quickly ran out of ideas, and we did just have Friend trying to peek through mid doors and look for a pick with the AWP. Again, I know it's a map they're not as comfortable on, but it's not what I was expecting the win conditions to be for this Poland team. We said they kind of need to outmaneuver their opponents because they probably don't stack up in terms of skill, and that first map, it played out exactly as Serbia would have wanted, getting all those gunfights, not really having to overthink things at any point. So you're 100% right. We need to see more rounds, get into the mid round, get into the late round where they should have the edge, because in this map, they did get run over a little too much.
Was Friend playing an unsustainable level of CS in the group stage? And now are we seeing them without that?
I mean, I think the game he had that we got to see obviously yesterday, that was pretty wild, because I think it was something like, what, 24-6 at some point. He was just like obviously popping off. I think he's going to be able to play to a high level, maybe not that high of a level each and every time, but I don't think he should be required to play as insane for Poland to have a shot at it. Again, on Nuke, that can't be your win condition for picking Nuke. Like, oh yeah, maybe Friend just pops off and gets 30. No, like if you pick Nuke for that reason, you're doing it all wrong. So this has to be obviously a good performance for Friend, but we saw some promising signs from Beanox here on Dust 2. If that again trails into Nuke and you get just average performances, really, that's what you want, just average across the board from the Poland players, then I think they're in a decent spot to potentially take their map pick.
Yeah, I still think they can be okay here. I just really need to see Poland. My main emphasis would be, don't let those A rushes get chaotic. Don't let Serbia go for these quick A plays on T side, because if they do get out towards the A side, they will start to have those chances to get those snappy trades. So that's got to be a big focus. Use that utility early. Don't allow A rushes, and then from there, see if Serbia even have anything else.
Yeah, I'm just really curious to see what's going to happen with Poland if they don't have money on their side on the CT side. Like, is this just going to be like a bit of a steamroller affair, or do they actually have something to kind of counteract that? Maybe they don't get the off on Friend as much as they would have liked, which could be a big part of their outer defense and so on. For the match sake, I hope that Poland get off to a good start. That's all I'll say.
Okay, that's what we need. That is map 1 done and dusted. Next up will be Nuke. Can Serbia get this done in 2? Don't go anywhere.
You know I can't help but this, 'cause they know they can never touch this. So baby, let me talk my shit, or I might just throw another fit. You know I can't help but this, 'cause they know they can never touch this. So baby, let me talk my shit, or I might just throw another fit.
Welcome back, everybody. Map number 2 about to get underway. We've got Nuke for you, and it's an interesting position that we're in, because we had a little brief conversation. Choiv, I've got 0 maps playing this, so that'll be funny. We'll see how Serbia do. I'm interested to see how my boy Choiv does if he does not play this map. That'll be funny. This feels like a very good punish pick over towards Poland, and a good opportunity to push this towards a 3rd map. However, Just 2 at the same time basically 0 maps played against any kind of decent opposition. So maybe it's not the end of the world for Serbia.
Yeah, it shouldn't be too bad. I mean, we'll see how their T-sides look. I think Emmy is just very... He's really impressed me as a caller. And I think that's always been the case. He's got a great mind for the game. It's just, can he get his players on the same page as well? Especially when players like Troy don't have that, like, independence to them that they can kind of carry themselves in their role. They're going to have to be handheld a little bit more in the map. And if Poland play their cards right, that's not necessarily going to be an easy job for him. So we'll keep an eye, even on both ends. On CT side as well, it's not like that open and shut case on a map like Dust 2 where, you know, players just understand what to do. The rotations have to be swift. The understanding of what holes are available for the offense also have to be understood very quickly. And that's going to take a whole lot of reps. And we'll see whether Poland can punish that inexperience here as we take to Nuke, the second map of our first quarterfinal.
Yeah, I mean, at least Serbia are going to get that CT side start. So that feels like the real positive. This is the Neo special. Nade and smoke over towards door, and the Melba special as it all gets shut down immediately.
Triple swing door, man.
Such an easy...
Every time.
Easy pistol round coming through as well. And Choi, if he doesn't play this map, gets a 3K. Oh, I love Counter-Strike. I really do. It's so funny.
No think, shoot head.
Yes.
That was probably what Emmy said there. That was the strat.
Hey, guys, I reckon fight A. Ah, sound. Yeah. I got you, man. Let's do it.
Two players fighting into the hut side, 2 players fighting into the squeak side. It was just everything you could ask for right into the arms of the CTs.
Hey, Emmy, do we need anyone ramp or outside? Nah, mate, just come top side.
It's fine.
We'll be okay. We'll be all right. And they were all right. They were more than all right, as it was an incredibly simple pistol. Not even a single kill over towards Poland. Serbia, getting that good start is something I'm a big fan of. Now, something I'm not a big fan of is force buying T-side when you don't even get a bomb plant. If you get a bomb plant, I'm all for it.
I mean, even in situations where you get a bomb plant, I don't even think it's guaranteed at this point with the kind of nerfs that they've given over time. I think you need a couple of kills and a bomb plant these days. Beanox has gotten downstairs and is trying to sell something, and he's sold a lot. There are 3 players downstairs at this point that they're just going to consider just walking out upper, and Kindo has just given up the angle. He's going to be in for a world of hurt. I mean, Choiv certainly is. He falls with nothing, and now Kindo, all he can do is wait for the cavalry to arrive.
Yikes.
But they're bleeding bodies. Friend finds another as well.
They've sort of got to go huge here as well. Somebody's got a multi-frag.
I'd leave, genuinely.
Yeah, that might be a temptation. But we shall see. I think they probably even just sort of call this, but the one issue that they've really got to work with is just the lack of kit. That's the problem that we're looking at for this. Even if you want to actually give this a go, I don't know if you can. Time ticking. 30% on that bomb. The fight is there. They know there's one below as well, but yeah, we've got to get out of there. So Poland, the force buy works well. They're going to make it expensive at the end, but all Poland care about is round 1 for them. Muted celebrations though, no cheers. That's the sort of round that I'd be really getting loud about.
Yeah, definitely. I think in their minds, I think they're still thinking about the best of 3 as a whole and how long of a route they have back. They've got to basically find the reverse sweep, right? Bounce back here on Nuke and then try to close it out on Ancient. And I think they're not having that same mentality that we kind of looked at when we saw Mongolia take to the stage with that big comeback, where it's this real grind out round by round mentality, and that's just not there just yet for Poland. They understand that it's going to take a little bit more.
At least they've got some level of a buy to work with in response though. Triple MP9s are still scary in the right hands.
Oh, definitely. And with all the utility that they have as well, they can stall.
Yeah, the one big problem I think they had in that previous round was actually just Choiv with that scroll wheel jump. That cost him, because he could probably have got 1-for-1 there. But he scroll wheel jumps and then just gets double dinged. So it's kind of an unfortunate way to fall. That's probably coming down to the lack of reps on the map.
or just, you know, not scroll jump.
Yeah. Just use spacebar like a true goat.
Okay, so boost up here for Dragon on half HP, trying to get that one and done.
Interesting. We actually don't see this boost really ever anymore.
No, not as much anymore.
On Go, it was so popular, but we more or less never see it anymore.
It's a little bit harder to do it, considering you've got to get the right box to boost in, and he gets completely unchecked here. Jump up from Mass, and that might have been jumping genuinely.
Yeah.
And that just completely negates the power of that crossfire.
And now they get to just leave one over towards Ram. They don't have to do anything there.
Yeah, just park.
It's such a strong angle to hold. Beanox comes in through main as well. So they're being pulled apart. And again, I would actually be tempted just to keep out of the two M4s in particular here. I don't think it's even worth losing.
Yeah, and then, I mean, Dragon and Choiv, I don't even think you have to purchase. You can just have pistols, nobody buy anything, and then have a proper purchase on in round number 4. But right now, Poland have been doing a lot of great work on a macro level to make sure that they have multiple win conditions. Here they find ramp control, they don't go down into B immediately, they take mini control, and then they split into A. So right now, already seeing a lot more good ideas coming out from the T side that makes me excited for a potential of a third here.
Yeah, I think you're right. It is interesting actually for Serbia. How confident do they feel on this map? How is the vibes? I mean, I'm looking at it statistically as well, and it's a map in which they play a little bit, right? But the worst loss that Partizan technically have had on this map was to Permitter, and it was a 13-4. So, and that was recently as well.
Yeah.
So funnily enough, this is actually a pretty comfortable map for Poland to punish pick into just because of recent results.
Yeah, I mean, that'll be very interesting. I mean, Serbia definitely have tape to look at what went wrong there, but right now, there is no real game plan that has been, I mean, they've just straight up not had the chance to. It feels like Poland have been exerting their will with the superior purchase and with the superior pacing of these rounds. So now that the guns, actually, never mind. Not the guns and then following round. We'll keep an eye out on Serbia in round number 5. But in this one, it's all about keeping the economy honest and really making sure that Poland cross their T's, dot their I's, and lock in round number 4 here.
So interesting, when these two last played, the cores last played, so Poland and Serbia on the Permitter and Partizan, it was a 2-1 in favor of Permitter. The maps were Partizan picked in towards Inferno, which they won, and then Permitter picked in towards Ancient, which is on map number 3, and won that 16-14 in overtime, and map number 3 was Nuke, which they won 13-4. So the two remaining maps are the two maps that Permitter beat Partizan on, and that's just shy of 2 months ago.
Yeah.
So Poland actually got to feel pretty confident. If they can get this map going towards Ancient, be like, we've already beat them literally like a month and a half ago.
They've mentally just got to stay in this as much as possible. They can't let this game run away from them, especially with the good start that they have so far. Commanding lead in that sense, but there's still a long way to go.
Interesting. Permitter permaban Dust 2 then.
Yeah, that's what I thought. It did feel as though there was a huge risk from the veto side of things, and it didn't pay off. Of course, they've still got these two maps in the bank. We'll see. You know, if Serbia do pull off the win, you'll go back to that veto and you really question it.
Yeah, as I also mentioned as well, just for when I say the cause of Poland, because for Permitter, they weren't playing with friends. They were playing with Markosh. Then
this is, I'd like to say, isn't a direct upgrade.
It is. I'd agree. In more or less every single way. So I think that's actually really important. Of course, on the other side, Partizan were playing with Roger instead of Choiv. This buy still has a bit of potential here for Serbia. Like we said, we went for sort of a minimal investment around what was saved. Might just work out for more. We've got to do better there for Dragon. He gets damage dealt, but a 3 versus 3 is really difficult. Bomb plant to the lower site. And this doesn't feel easy at all. As Kindo will come and support Emmy. They spam open a hole in that door. They're going to try and use in their advantage, but they don't spot anything just yet. It's not the easiest angle to make your way out from single door if you don't have presence elsewhere. Because they're basically being held from 2 different spots. The first being the AK in towards window. It's masked up close, who's doing really, really well. Audion towards the second. Shouldn't really get away with any more. And I think it's going to be that simple call to save once again. Choi keeps hold of the MP9. Emmy keeps hold of the M4. It will be Poland taking a 3-1 lead. And Emmy isn't even given the luxury of the escape.
Great patience there from Mast, I have to say. He'll fall to the bomb, but just the resiliency to stay behind the silo and never give a duel, even after a teammate is finding contact. If Serbia find any bit of an inch there, which would be the life of Mast, they commit to that 3v2 every day of the week, regardless of the time being rotted off the clock. So very smartly done there. And now Poland, they navigate through that awkward scenario. They were in the 3v4 committing to that B bomb site, but still play the post very smartly. And now, guns do come out for Serbia. No AWP for Kindo. But you want to get this rifle core as quickly into this game as possible.
Yeah, that's it. Emmy Gonna play it around that smoke over towards single. Lower presence with Beanox with an opener. When they last played these two cores, it was Beanox who lit up the server. They need that again from him. We didn't see as much in towards that first map, but he's looking very good here in towards map number 2. A double. 2 kicks starting towards round number 5. And already Serbia are in a bit of an awkward predicament. Fred with that bomb plant. And Tomoko delivering one of his own as well. That basically, for me, feels like the round's already over.
Oh yeah, it's been over. I think just the fact that they were able to get the A anchor of Choiv that quickly. I mean, he started with a triple kill, but beyond that, I think Poland have found their win con, and it's trying to bully the most inexperienced player on this Serbian roster, on this map specifically.
Not my goat. Not like this, man. Not my
I don't want to call him out, you know. It's not what I'm supposed to do, but sometimes I'm just forced by my hand is forced. You know?
Yeah, and especially if he has 0 maps played, it doesn't really help at all.
All you can do is chuckle and move on and try to learn from it and try to adapt as best as possible.
Of course, for Choiv, currently playing on a team I actually don't know. I haven't caught them. Lusan or Lawsan.
That doesn't ring a bell for me either.
No, and it's.
Is it any of those ex-I Nation guys?
No, actually, so it's the team being X-Real, Choiv, MSN, Danny, remember from Aelia and Blue Jays, North Macedonian guy, and Awaken, who is insane on the orb. Like he, for those many people probably won't know this, but I was there at UK Prem when for the first time in like 8 years or something, Endpoint lost UK Prem to Viperia, and Awaken hard carried them in a best of 5. They reverse sweeped Endpoint, in fact, winning like 3-1, I think it was. That was held at Insomnia, but it was kind of UK Prem as sort of a slightly separate event. But yeah, that's the team they're playing with now. And let me see when the last time they played a match. But yeah, the fact they're not playing. They played the quals for the Copenhagen Mage, was the last official they had. So
might have just been a mix for that.
So that's
maybe he's not even
maybe he's not on the team. Yeah, that was the 12th of January this year. So damn, Choi's played in ages, and they lost to Anonymo in that one. So yeah, hate to see it. And funnily enough, as well, you know, these are all players, Anonymo, that will know this Polish lineup so well. Beanox again, another double. He's come out lights out in towards these last couple of rounds. He's looking really confident.
And sure, he doesn't get that wrap in the mini that he's been loving, but he's put some pressure outside and he's caused players to stay in that part of the map as well. Emmy having to deal with that. With minute 15, they'll re-clear lobby as a unit, make sure that they've got this portion cordoned off, and then explode together, try to trade effectively, and that they'll do.
There's a little quiet. This first fight is super important. And unfortunately for Choiv, it's just not going to work out in his favor. Mast, an easy crab walk around that corner, gets his, clears back sight. Again, Paladin, that might be the round. This tracking goes huge here, but he's going to get caught on the way up. I wouldn't even be surprised if Emmy did tempt to the save, but he's just so close to the action that he wants to give it a look in. Oh, this is worrying. I don't even think Serbia are even getting remotely close here on gun rounds.
Yeah, these are just really well-constructed rounds from Poland. The game plan there initially, just try to establish outside control as quickly as possible. Plan A doesn't work considering Collins tries to play around the smoke, but they still go evens in terms of the man advantage. So as soon as that happens, they reset as quickly as they possibly can, and Serbia just can't keep up with that reorient when all is said and done. So right now, from every level of the game, Poland are ahead by a country mile.
Dragon's got the Nova though, so he's about to bring it back into the level playing field. Collins, the M4. Yeah, here's MP9 of Emmy. You have no right to be getting a kill there. So an opening double is actually really, for the first time we've seen success coming forward, and the third might be behind it. It's damage, but it's not the confirm. The Nova's still alive, that's all that matters.
Oh yeah. But Kindo falls with nothing. He was jiggling for a while, and Kindo
Where is that
falls
Nova?
with nothing. Yeah, I'm not necessarily sure. I was assuming it was just going to be on top of hut, but it looked like it was ramp, like close range ramp.
He's wrapped ramp, so he's actually pushing towards lobby.
So he's actually pretty close and could deny a plant, considering all of these players are pretty split apart.
I mean, Friend and Mars are actually in that sort of one Nova headshot range, but
Great
the
molly.
flame is absolutely perfect, yeah. Man advantage Poland, post-plant as well. This really feels incredibly unlikely. One towards Mustang cleared with ease. Second towards backside. It's about where that third and final player is. His friends start to make a bit of a move, but Mary might have a bit of an advantage. MP9 starting to close down the gap though, and this is where potentially Choi could do a bit of his best work, but he's looking everywhere bar the right spot. He was waiting to try and give Collins a bit of coverage on that wrap back through, and it's not to be. That's a really nice little 1-2 play between Friend and Mary there. They just don't need to fight, so they don't.
Yeah, you have another opportunity there if you're Serbia in that kind of low econ situation, but nothing working out. The timing to wrap in through lobby is just off the mark. Player in heaven gets to throw down that Molotov, forces Dragon into the open, and then it's just curtains. They play the man advantage so smartly in the 2v1 Poland. And right now, everything, now even the clutches going against Serbia.
Yeah.
That this tack pause, they're going to really have to discuss a gimmick, one of those kind of pocket strats to get them back into this, or else we're talking Ancient as swiftly as we had that desk.
Yeah. And the boys might want to come back over already. This one feels like it could be maybe over before it even starts. I mean, I normally, when I cast Nuke, I always say 5 rounds on T-Side is enough. And they've already superseded that. So for me, that's the worrying thing. And actually, Poland going to chain a timeout of their own off the back of Serbia's second, just to continue conversing, or probably most likely continue tilting Serbia.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Serbia is a team to tilt necessarily.
Really, I think they are. I think they're probably one of the worst.
Okay, yeah, sure. I mean, if that's the case, then why not call the timeout? You've got 3 to use.
I think they're a very emotional team.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fair enough.
I still remember, like, I mean, obviously, it didn't go too well for them, but at the RMR, they obviously were...
Oh, that's fair. They went 0-3, didn't they?
Yeah. And they were... I think they lost a few rounds due to things like tilt, where they were just making sloppy mistakes because they felt a little hopeless, and I feel like it could even be the same here.
You don't want that washout to happen. It'd be such a shame if that would happen in this stage, you know.
Yeah, then again, though, I have this sort of argument. I think it's better to be completely blown out in a map than to, like, lose 13-11 because you, like, just fumble in the last round.
Yeah, it's an interesting conversation. I mean, I see arguments for both. I kind of lean your way as well.
Because imagine if you, like, gruel back, or, like, for example, like, even like the Mongols, the way they lost yesterday, so heartbreaking. You're 10-2 down, you bring it back, you choke out, so you actually end up going to overtime, which you should have seen it off in regulation, and then you lose an OT. That must be, like, incredibly tilting.
Very weird round here from Poland. They just go walking contact through, and yet they still have a route into that bottom site. Friend has made his way downstairs. All other players on the CT side upstairs. And we will have ourselves a 2v3 post plant that is very doable for the T's, especially considering Mary was able to get here unscathed.
This is a big fight, a very big fight, and one that works in Mary's favor. How have Serbia let this round slip away? Emmy's barely alive, so he should be dead here, and he will be dead here. Mary has still barely taken any damage, so this round feels like it's done. Kindo has to go nuclear, and it's Mary who just goes on an insane run of things there. 3 kills in quick succession and 3 easy fights that he probably actually should have been traded at the first.
That was round number 8, Neo, but to me it feels like round number 13, locked and loaded for Poland, you know? I mean, man disadvantage.
2v4?
Yeah, I might have 2v3 even. I'm not as sure. Either way, pretty heavy man disadvantage. They've lost so much map control, and I have to say that's probably, arguably, their worst round they've called in so far.
Agree,
and they still pull a rabbit out of the hat, and that really is some cause for concern. That we're throwing chaos into the conversation, and yet Serbia can't individually battle their way out.
It's true. Oh, man, this is not looking good at all. Dragon struggling with his impact. We're not seeing kind of Kindo have those real kind of superstar moments either.
He just barely had the op to get activated.
Yeah, it's the money, right?
Yeah.
It's just a heartbreaking spot for them. I mean, even with that loss bonus built up, because he's still getting little bits of upgrades, it's still meaning that he can't go in towards the big green. And on the other side, of course, for Poland, for Friend, I mean, he doesn't need to. Why not? I mean, the AK is working wonderfully right now.
Yeah, these defaults have been a little bit pacier in terms of the map control that they've been gaining. And it's not even like they're taking these head-to-head long-range duels with big garage players. They've been using these L-block smokes very effectively, and they'll do it again. They get into mini with no punishments whatsoever. Choiv goes 1 for 1, but it doesn't matter. All of these players fall like a house of cards. 4 players on that top site, and they just get pushed over, batted down like it's nothing. And Serbia will have to give on over an 8th round on the trot here. It's just a pistol that showed a little bit of promise for Serbia, but nothing else to report.
Yeah, it was a sort of a false prophet, wasn't it, really?
Yeah.
Thinking like, this is our shining light, this is how we're going to make this work for us, and it just so quickly ends up being not to be. An 8th for Poland. I don't know, I already feel this is completely done. I mean, Serbia would have to do something miraculous to try and flip this on its head. Even if it was to end, for example, like an 8-4, I still think Poland just look a world of difference compared to even kind of the pitfalls that we saw on towards map number 1. Brilliant work. Brilliant.
Yeah, I think it's a complete flip of the script, right? On Dust 2, struggling to find win conditions on a strategical level, and you also didn't have the firepower that you were hoping for from players like Friend. So on either end of the spectrum, Poland couldn't really dig themselves out of that. And now here on Nuke, they're getting players into the positions they're wanting. They're getting players into mini, they're getting players into ramp, and they're starting to clutch a little bit better as well. So a lot of pressure now building onto Serbia, and now you can call this sucker punch play. Just pop into this A site with minimal utility and lock in a bomb plant straight away.
Yeah, nothing hurts more than when you're losing badly to just lose to a quick rush, right? Because it means you just weren't ready. I mean, even the first guy that falls here of Choiv, his gun wasn't even up, right? He was so flashed and so surprised by the pace that he dies with nothing. Smoke going to come down to potentially lurk out if Collins wants to push through main, but with still a main smoke there, he actually can't make the move out. The incredible risk at his life. Molly goes towards heaven. I don't know if that got extinguished, but it doesn't really make a difference because of the smoke that's also placed up there. And time ticking already so far gone. Emmy, I think we're probably calling the save here. Time's too far ticked. There might be an exit. There will be an exit. Maybe a couple, which is nice. But the constellations, they're silver linings in the dark sky, and they do not even remotely bother Poland. All of them die, and they're still laughing.
Matter. Yeah, I mean, Mary's had max cash.
For like 3 rounds.
Yeah, and Friend is also at max cash. So genuinely a completely irrelevant result. And that's and losing a 4v4 like that without getting any gunfights given to you is like the most soul-crushing way to lose a round as a CT. You lose a round in 5 seconds, genuinely 5 seconds, and you can't do anything about it but stare on and start planning for the next round. Truly domination here from Poland, start to finish. And these guys are not letting their foot off the gas. They're trying to constrict and replicate the previous result. And Tomiko just walking through the smoke.
Never should get that kill in a normal game. But this is a normal game. This is boys versus men out of there.
Yeah.
It's global elites versus silvers. It's FaZe versus Melba. I mean, there really is so little going on in the server for this Serbian side.
Now what do you do? Try to maybe find an answer, maybe some re-aggression elsewhere. They've tried that a couple of times. Try to go outside late.
Curl up into a ball and cry.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, sure. Get the emotions out while you can and just get ready for Ancient.
Do you know what? I think the best thing you actually can do here if you're Serbia is just, I mean, obviously it's difficult, but just try your hardest to just say, this doesn't matter. We're losing, but don't let this linger on your mind. Don't sort of succumb to the tilt. Let's just view Ancient as a best of one, which we're used to, because we just played 3 days of best of ones in the groups, or 2 days of best of ones in the group. So we're used to best of ones. Let's treat it like it's, you know, the first 2 maps make no difference. This is his own thing.
I think you can come to terms with it, especially considering how inexperienced Choiv is on this map. It was something that Poland were very smartly punishing. Hold on a second. 25 seconds left on the clock. You've got 3 players downstairs, and Mary trying to sell something upstairs. Bomb should be able to go down if there's cover from the player up on the catwalk. But actually, Kindo's downstairs as well. How did they get this C4 onto the ground? I have no idea. Emmy can't deny it. And the kill should still be coming back the other way. It's all up to Friend downstairs as Mary's upstairs. And he falls, so it leaves it all onto the sniper, onto the Tech 9, capitalizes onto 1.
No!
Finds Choiv, and double digits found for Poland. How does Friend pull off the impossible there in the 1v2?
I love Friend as well. I think the camera caught it a little bit, but he's like a conductor. He's orchestrating. Brilliant. Brilliant stuff. Friend is having a field day in that round. It's not exactly like he's super pulling away. It's primarily, individuals like Mary's been having real lights out moments, but that is such a nice 1v2, but at the same time, it's not. It's so badly played by Serbia.
I mean, you were given 2 opportunities between both of those players to complete the kill, and it just doesn't happen, right? Labored spray on that Tech 9, but that's just how sometimes happens. Hey, sometimes your teammates or your opponents are just having a good day, right?
Yeah.
That's just how it is.
That's how I feel as they start spinning across my screen. They're just having a better day.
Right, yeah.
Mary does get 1, but it gets limited at only 1. So the number's still kept actually here for Serbia. Final round of the half. Potential of that 10-2. That's what Mongolia did. And then we saw that slightly historic comeback of theirs.
Well, man advantages in this point of the game have been completely irrelevant for Serbia. How many man advantages have they gotten, and how many have they actually converted?
Yeah.
I mean, that ratio must be disgustingly low.
That's true. He's, man advantage situations lost is a really worrying stat line, but this one, while it still feels like it's surely
gonna get a plant.
unwinnable, yeah, they're going to get a plant out here. Mast, I don't think he's going to consider this vent player. So, Choiv should have 1 here. He will get 1, and the second behind it. So,
okay.
Oh, it's a sigh of
Finally.
relief, but my God, it is an incredibly one-sided half. 10-2, it just looks so wonderful for Poland.
Yeah, well, I mean, I hate to be in these situations, when
Thirsty.
he's got a whole lot of water bottles.
Guy's chugging
Look,
over there.
Credit to him.
Yeah,
I
hydrated king.
Dude, genuinely, I feel like gamers really struggle with that. I think we're struggling with that too. I feel like I just don't have enough water in me constantly. It's
Do you know
so
what?
difficult.
I got to say, one of the things I'm really not used to, coming from England where it's cold as hell all the time, and even in summer it's like not great, is aircon. Like, it's just like such a rarity for me.
Unfortunately, in the US, we love that. We love it. It's a staple, after all.
Yeah, and I guess in probably Poland, I'm assuming the same. A lot of European countries don't have it, so that's probably why he's so hydrated. And I can respect that from him. Pistol round was really good for Serbia. Everything else was absolutely abhorrent. So let's see if they can replicate that at the very least.
Let's see what they can get done. Slow down here, a singular flash on the captain of Emmy. I think they're considering to just go barreling into that A side, but they'll play against it. They'll go back in a ramp, and they'll start to put some pressure. Kindo does find Beanox aggressing in with those dualies. And now they're having second thoughts. They don't want to commit to that ramp play all throughout, and maybe they'll have an opening here in that upper site, but they're caught between 2 minds. They're just seeing if they can find another straggling CT to actually commit to a play here.
For now, with under a minute on the clock, it does go a little quiet. Where do we actually want to finish here for Serbia? It's feeling like a top side play, but then you still got a bit of ramp presence too, and it might just be the Emmys trying to sell
ramp.
this ruse. Yeah, so ramp committed, down they go. There's no one actually, there's 1 player to meet them there, and 2 quickly rotating down Ven. Friend sort of has to get at least 1 here at a bare minimum, and Choi from the drive-by does well. There's site presence, but it's not making a difference, as it will lead to Dragon getting yet another kill and a bomb plant to follow it, and even more added to the tally. Tomiko, he's not got a chance here. He's got 18 points of HP in a 1 versus 4. This would require something ridiculous. Not this time. So, 2 for 2 in pistols. Congrats, Serbia, but it still doesn't really make a difference. Doesn't change our view on this game.
Yeah, I mean, even in that round there, I got a little worried for Serbia, considering Emmy lets 2 players rotate down the vents.
Yeah.
I think you play. I think you play to your death there if you're
Yes,
Emmy, right?
yeah,
You make sure that you keep them there for as long as possible. Confirm the bomb plant.
It's just buying time, isn't it?
Yeah, and even in that situation, Friend being alone nearly had the angle to start pulling things back. But either way, Serbia shut it down. They live for just a little bit longer here on Nuke, and I think any sort of confidence that you can gain with these rounds here will be a nice one to keep in mind moving into Ancient, because as you spoke about, we're still definitely looking at that decider. It's just a matter of when.
One of the few times where I don't mind this seat side force buy. Got so many rounds in arrears, who cares? You can take a gamble. Even if you lose it, even if Serbia's at the Sparrow a little bit, you shouldn't be feeling that much pressure. So for the most part, all right. Once again, a little bit of a timid start by Serbia. I think this is just about them trying to eye out, is there a gamble stack? Is there a bit of heavy side presence towards one side? And if there is, let's avoid it.
Friend will now be tested outside as it's late yard control being found by Serbia. And Friend, with that scope, will not be able to get activated as he would have hoped, as they silently go down the T's. And nobody there to respond in kind into that downstairs site means that, I mean, Poland are really struggling for info and struggling for an idea as to what's coming, and they frankly can't really do much about it.
Well,
Friend's fallen as well.
Yeah, down he goes, and with Mary so low, it feels like it's completely unlikely here. Creeping the way forward, 25 seconds, we've got to move, but thankfully, there's no pressure. No one towards B. They walk out, and they will get a bomb plant. It will be the round for Serbia. They just can't do anything here, Poland. Just keep on what you've got. You may as well just reuse these guns and towards the next.
Yeah, I think you just tuck into a spawn here, hole up, try it again. Maybe have some close-range pistol fights that worked out for them in rounds past, but they're kind of losing bodies at this point. Kindo is doing a great job to find one, and nearly claims a second as well. But Beanox will finally quell him. Picks up a Galil. That's a nice thing to have moving forward.
Yeah. Will be saved. So they got the Galil on the scout saved alongside Deagle. It's not terrible.
I think Mass also might have had a pistol, an upgraded pistol, so we could drop that over.
Yeah, I think it's a 5.7.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Not the worst saved force buy situation.
It's still another lost force buy though, so
Yeah,
that's
great. I mean, the campaign still goes strong at the end of the day.
The propaganda machine is churning here for me.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. That's like 86 to 22. We're getting very close to 4 times. We'll get it probably today, I'd say. Because
we still got plenty of teams that were willing to go into it. So
I'm telling you now, for a damn fact, Kazakhstan will do it.
Oh, absolutely.
They did it every single map on both T and CT side as well. So the Neelan special. Kindo, we'll get that first one towards Beanox. That's already the Galil. Down and half for the count. I don't even really think recoverable as well to make matters worse, but might be something still here. No, not anymore. Choif, he gets 2 in quick succession, which denies the risk for a brief moment there. And Thrend, he's thrust into a 1 versus 3, but unfortunately he just doesn't have any space to work with. So once again, you can talk about save here, but he is going to have a buy towards the next round, so why not maybe just try and make it a little expensive with some sort of exits?
yeah, let's keep the foot on the neck here if I'm Poland. Make a rebuy happen. Kindo is 1 taggable and he'd go down.
What are we saying, 10-8? We might start believe for Serbia?
I mean, yeah, they basically have to get through 2 buy rounds
Yeah.
before I'm really satisfied. But right now, there hasn't been the utility, there hasn't been the weaponry to really contest outside control or even nade open those outside smokes. So I'm not worried in the slightest just yet for Poland.
Yeah, I'm with you. Oh, there's a tag. Ah, there you
That's
go.
great.
Sort of, essentially, 2.5 kills there with the damage dealt. Collins just about staying alive. You take it. You absolutely take it.
Oh.
Someone was collecting some stars there as well. I can
Good on
respect
you,
it.
man.
Get that skins grind, man. I respect it. I've had nothing from my stars.
Well, you got that charm, didn't you?
Oh yeah,
that
no, that's
cool
true. I
charm.
forgot about that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I got the light blue knife. I saw it. Someone sold it for like $700, but I think that was like a one-off. I think it
It's
actually.
the pattern, I think. They've all got patterns.
Yeah, it is like below 12,000 is good or something. I don't
Yeah,
think mine is, but mine's not decent in all fairness. I've got it on
It
my
looks
AK.
cool.
Yeah,
It looks cool.
and then I've got you know, the olive green AK. I've got 8 of them now. So, and then there's like one of the purple orgs. I've got that 4 times.
Oh, lovely.
So, I mean, I use the good one now, but the rest of them are just fodder for a trade-up. Shot from Friend. Good work. We spoke about having to overcome gun rounds for Serbia, and their first true tested one's not going too well out the gates. Already down to 3 in a matter of mere moments in that first engagement.
Yeah, classic bait and switch setup there between Tomiko and Friend. That's just cookie cutter, and it works well. It's been working well for ages now. And 3v5 instantaneously for Emmy to dig his team out of. you've got a player down in vents, sure, but you've still got to find a way to barrel through these side anchors, and that opening may suggest a little bit more of a chance here. Collins is teed up for another, but can't convert onto Mary. Tomiko will find another, and it's all onto the captain. Poland answering quickly in kind now that they've got the guns out. And there's really nothing to speak about excitedly here for the T's. Poland march ever closer to Ancient.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately for Serbia, this is the thing. They had that small little respite where they're winning against kind of low buy and no buys, but the second gun's coming towards play, it's right back to the same story you saw in that first half. Fantastic for them as Poland inch ever closer, just 2 rounds away now from pushing us towards the Ancients, which, as we mentioned, the cause of these two teams, Pmitta and Partizan, that's it. I was saying Paloma for a second, that's the other Polish team. Pmitta and Partizan, who they played a month and a half ago. Ancient was won 16-14 in overtime as a map 2. That was Poland's pick. So they've got to be feeling very confident about the space that they're in right now. And this isn't sort of as one-sided as a game as it was when they played a month and a half ago. It was a 13-4 then. And this was on track to being more or less the same.
Complete slowdown here from Serbia. They understand this is basically their last opportunity, and it doesn't start off on the right foot as Collins hits the deck. Last-ditch effort here, moving into this ramp, nading open the smoke, putting pressure on Tomiko, but he stepped up when it counts. Has a kill teed up for him. Kindo will hit the ground, and Dragon was there for the trade. So at the very least, Serbia have ramp, but at what cost, Neo?
Yeah, easy to say in hindsight. Best thing Tomiko could have done there is actually just held down mouse 1 rather than trying to burst his way forward. Still, numbers are...
Mary's in lobby, man. What?
Yeah, I know. He's gone all the way around. There's one. There's the bomb. The second spotted out, and he actually doesn't take enough damage to pull him away from the fight, and he'll get another behind it too. Emmy has to go huge in a 1v4 turn 1v2. Maybe a possibility. This next fight towards Mast is uber important. IGL versus IGL, and it's Mast who delivers. Now putting themselves just 1 away from pushing us towards Ancient and doing it without even breaking a sweat as well. 12-5, Serbia. I mean, they've just not offered up anything, really. They've got 2 pistol rounds, a couple of forces behind it, but for the most part, it's been one-way traffic. And, Paladin, look at the buy that Serbia have got to work with heading in towards the last.
Yeah, that was basically the last chance, if I'm being completely honest. It's down to Tech 9s. I mean, look, you've got nothing to lose. I just call in top execute and see if you can cut the distance with those Tech 9s. And instead, they're just going to play that standard default. Maybe have a conga line out through ramp. I'm not really sure. I can't really grasp at straws and say that there's a
I don't think they're
specific
sure.
player to target.
I think they're as equally puzzled with this map as we have been watching it. They are going to go for that conga line out towards Nuke, out towards ramp on Nuke. And the first isn't good. The Tomiko is just putting the pressure on, but he actually can't get the second behind it. And a missed shot with the ult from Friend. But he's still just so confident to fight. Well, Beanox, he delivers on that rotate. Kindo was actually meant to be a bit of an insurance policy to catch rotators, and the spam as well from Beanox through the smoke. This is it. This is curtains here on map number 2, 2 versus 4. But at least they've got a gun. And Dragon going to move his way forward as Choiv leads the charge out first. They've got a bit of space. It's more actually, where can they even plant the bomb? There's no security in plants here, so they've got no chance. Choiv, limited at just that 1 kill there. I mean, it's such a muted display out from Serbia. We really can't even say anything that positive.
Yeah, genuinely, yeah, it's a GG go next, I think.
Yeah, like I said.
I don't necessarily feel as though I saw anything that excited about that Serbian Nuke, genuinely.
Yeah, I feel like you'd rather get stomped than have a close game if you're going to lose.
Yeah,
so
yeah, I mean, it's one that you can wipe from your head straight away,
yeah,
right?
just forget about it, right? And I think this is something that, at least for these guys over towards Serbia, they're going to be able to do. They've been in a position like this before. They've been in a spot where they just get no looking towards a map. We saw it time and time again for kind of variations of this core, whether it was kind of, these guys were iNation back in the day, right, when they had the RMR stint when 03. So they know what it is like to have to mentally reset, but man, that was really uncomfortable.
I really hope that we can get a bounce back and a decider that delivers. You know, their last meeting wasn't an overtime game.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to write off Serbia just yet. I know what they're capable of. I know the individuals that
True.
have given a lot to us through the group stage in this tournament. So hopefully we'll get a banger to close out this year.
Yeah, I mean, when they played Ancient, right, it was an overtime affair, right? It was 16-14 in favor of the Polish core. So there might be a chance where at least for Serbia thinking we brought it so close. We actually, if we can lock in a little bit, have a bit of that map 1 performance, might have something up our sleeve. I think though for me this feels like the air of momentum starting to flip over towards Poland. We'll have to see whether the desk agrees though. I was going to throw it back over to the fellas over there.
Yes, indeed, series evened up. And for the viewers at home, I'm going to break down the advanced strategy there from Poland there on the T side. It was to go A, and they went A pretty much every round, and to a lot of success. The simple strats, the simple kind of philosophy sometimes does just work perfectly, and it did for them.
Do you want to hear Serbia's tactical breakdown?
Please tell me.
Throw a smoke, throw a Molotov, throw all hopes and dreams of a 2-0 out the window. Because that was just terrible. The CT side was awful, and as you said, this is a opposition that continuously runs at you towards that A-bomb site. We're constantly seeing a Serbia over-rotating before anything has ever really happened as well. That was, again, same issue that we saw with the Swedish women's team run into versus Poland in the women's tournament. Over-rotations for no good reason, and that's exactly what Serbia was doing time and time and time again. And we didn't see any sort of timeouts to really address it. We didn't really see any sort of, well, we didn't see anything change from Poland because they didn't need to change anything. Everything was working just swimmingly. This is just very, very surprising and very, very disappointing, honestly, from a team of Serbia's stature and the kind of players that they have. Again, they should have been around the block on Nuke enough times to know that you don't need to rotate 3 players downstairs just because a single person has made it down. Like, a single person down, either secret or vent, is not going to lose you the round. That's just not how the map works. Hasn't done that since 2012. So, yeah, just kind of baffled by the fact that Serbia put up as little of a fight as they did, and the fact that they were so adamant about continuing on with the thing that was clearly not working. Like, they kept saving as well. We were at 10-1 in favor of Poland, and both teams have just about the same amount of frags in total. So, like, you're not even giving yourself a chance at actually winning rounds back. And it's at a certain point, it's like, yeah, sure, it's great to have weapons, great to have a chance at, you know, potentially buying up in the next one and giving it another go. But eventually, you need to put rounds on the board. You need to actually give it a wholehearted effort at a retake or whatever it may be. And they just never did. So Poland had a completely freebie of a T-half, and yeah, I don't really know what Serbia was doing.
Yeah, that was the sort of beatdown a lot of people were hoping for in the Tyson versus Paul boxing match. We got that here today instead, folks.
Yeah.
That was tough. That was hard to watch. We were actually backstage looking up AI and seeing if it had a better idea how to rotate on CT side of Nuke.
Yeah.
And actually, maybe that's where they got their ideas from, because it was telling us weird stuff like, oh, if the opponents take yards, they're either going to go secret or lobby. I'm like, what? Okay, interesting. But yeah, like, maybe that's where they got their ideas from, because honestly, like, this is genuinely a concern because it's clearly a map that is going to be open for them. They're going to have that other permaban, and you know, this was a map that these guys have actually previously played, and the scoreline was similar. And it just clearly looks like Serbia don't have any of the fundamentals whatsoever. So
that was with the full lineup. They played with Partizan. Choiv here was playing A. Him and Emmy looked incredibly uncomfortable from the rounds I saw. So I think quite shrewd from Poland just to say that site's going to have problems. It did have problems. Apply any pressure elsewhere on the map and those problems get exacerbated. They couldn't lose when they went A, frankly, in this game. And whilst you know, Serbia made a lot of mistakes, you've got to credit Poland for just beating the team in front of them and exploiting those mistakes every single time.
Yeah, 100%. And even, you know, the couple of occasions where they didn't actually, you know, immediately hit towards that upper site, they did have, you know, occasions where they get down secret and then they notice, like, oh wow, yeah, there's like heavy presence from Serbia here. Let's go somewhere else. Like, and that works out. Again, they actually did what we wanted to see from them, which we talked about in the pregame. The fact that if their initial plan potentially gets blocked or gets halted, etc., like take a minute, reassess, do something new. Poland did that. Again, you can't fault them for Serbia playing a really weak CT side because Poland did everything they were meant to do in order to win. And that you got to give them tons of credit for. And if they get the chance to do so, at least it shows you that they do have that in them to, again, run something over and over again. If it works, it works. Let the opponent actually, you know, earn it. Like, let them actually earn that that adaptation from you. You're not going to give it to them for free. Just continue to mow them down if you have the opportunity. that's how you win Counter-Strike games. So happy to see that, and that's obviously like a very, very positive signs for Poland before going into decider map.
I do think going forward in the series, listen, there's not much more to talk about on that map, even with the individuals, because it wasn't about the individuals at all. As you said on the frag count, the amount of rounds Serbia were just having to save meant their kill-death ratios were actually fairly similar to Poland's, even though they lost so one-sidedly. So it really wasn't about the individuals, but at least for a brief moment in that second half, we saw a couple of rounds where Serbia got to do what they did on the first map, which was kind of just push in as a team and try and take aim fights, and they actually won a couple of those rounds. So this really doesn't change much for me in the context of the series. Even though it's such a one-sided map loss for Serbia, their win condition is still the same. This is just a map where that win condition simply doesn't work. Whereas on the Poland side, again, similar story. I don't think I saw much out of the individuals that was particularly impressive. I think there was a couple of nice moments from Mary. He was getting behind people, and he is going to be important on this third map. The last time they played, he was the top fragger for Poland, so we'll definitely be looking at him. But yeah, Ancient is a really good middle ground for these guys, because it's actually a map I think both are pretty comfortable on, and it's a map where you kind of do have that ability to play both ways. So in a sense, that's why it's kind of the perfect decider in this series, and I also think both teams absolutely would have expected this third map here.
Yeah, no, again, I think you're onto something, and I completely agree. Ancient seems like a very fine middle ground for teams, whether or not they want to play passive, aggressive, what have you. I don't think we're going to see Serbia end up in a situation where they're going to be so punished by potentially having poor rotations or anything of the likes. I think they're going to have the opportunity to be more aggressive or more assertive and kind of dictate potential, a pace of play, which I think they're going to prefer. So yeah, I'm looking forward to a much closer affair, and yeah, if history shows us anything, obviously it went to, I can't remember if it was single overtime or double overtime. Yeah, but obviously it went all the way in a couple of bonus rounds extra, so I wouldn't be surprised if we end up in a similar scenario.
That's what we want, a close fought game. Final map of the series will be Ancient. Winner of that goes to the semi-finals. Don't go anywhere.
Well, there's no problem. If you had a gun, shoot him in the head.
Welcome back. We're heading in towards map number 3. I don't know. I feel like for me, this is all about what Serbia do we actually get in the server, right? I mean, it's like map number 1, Serbia, was incredible. Map number 2 was woeful. So it's a real coin flip. We were talking about the best way that Serbia can sort of approach this is just treat this as a best of 1 and just actually forget the previous 2 maps. Just say, this is just like the group stage. We have best of 1s there. We had 5 of them. Let's just have a 6th.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about just the previous matchup, 16-14 win for Permita. There's a lot of demo tape to go through if you're Serbia. And now you got Choiv off of Nuke. You don't have to have that worry of what is he going to do, how is he going to feel when he's isolated, because it definitely felt as though he was getting targeted repeatedly on a map like Nuke. And you know, credit to Permita and their coaching staff to look through the demo, to look at the new personnel and find that win condition when we look at that second map.
Yeah, absolutely. We looked at Ancient. We've sort of touched this a little bit for those who've been following along the series. These 2 cores of the team, of Poland and Serbia, have actually made this map about a month and a half ago in a best of 3. It was picked by Poland in that series as that second map, and they won it 16-14. So it took all the way to overtime to take it, but Poland still got the win. So off the back of Nuke, which was equally as dominant when they did play last time as well, I think Poland are going to be feeling really confident going in towards the decider. Yeah,
I mean, just having that in your back pocket. I know when they went into Nuke, even if that was a closer affair, I think they understood what gamble they took in the veto and what they still had if we got to a third anyways. So even though that there was that weird hiccup that they wanted to play into Dust 2, they still have this opportunity to right those wrongs. Yeah, sure.
It feels for me that this is probably more eye-opening and actually where the weaknesses of it towards Serbia's map pool are. They've actually got quite a few weaknesses. Dust 2 is normally their permaban. They were forced, or maybe not forced, but they chose to pick into it. That's a risk and a gamble. And then they had no other maps in the pool where they're like, this is a direct advantage for us over this kind of Polish side. So let's see how things go as we head in towards this map number 3. We're heading in towards Ancient, of course, and it'll be Poland starting on that T side. CT side starts coming forward for Serbia as they won the knife round.
Well, back up against it. Well, it looks like actually our logos are a little off. It's Poland on the T side here, and it's Beanox to go contacting out through middle. Silent but deadly, and finally they find a player within Donut. It's a 4-stack on this A site, and they're going to continue to go barreling through here, Poland.
Kiddo will be able to get that support coming through from Dragon. maybe a little over face on towards Friend, but he's all that's left. He has a little bit of an AE coming through, but he just gets overwhelmed. Serbia needed that. It's the first time in a long time we've seen success come through for them. However, very good pistols. They were 2 for 2 on pistols and Nuke. And they do get another one here. They've always got at least that advantage.
You can feel just a release of pressure of sorts, right? They can kind of feel a little bit happy that their gamble works out there, that the crossfire within Donut works as well as it does. And Poland again want to go in with that force buy on the T side with no plant and barely any kills either. Not really much pep in this force buy step. When you look down the row, it's just Tech 9s and one SMG in Mast.
Yeah.
But the good thing is oh, all right, yeah, never mind then. I was gonna say advanced position from that captain, but he gets axed. And sure, there's some effective trading here, but Miko is really low. They do get a plant at the very least.
Yeah, I mean, that in itself is already a bit of a silver lining and a win. But if they make this 2 versus 2 stick, this would be a terrible round to lose for Serbia. Tech 9 and MP9 both are basically 1 bullet. There's the first. They know the last guy was out towards long as well, but he's doing a good job. Friend's giving them a chance. He's 1 clutches before, and he might have a chance at another. Friend on the swing. Can't do it, but my God, that is so close. And actually so worrying that it took that much out of Serbia.
Yeah, I'm buying again if I'm Poland. 100%
Yes.
here. Do not let Serbia get comfortable in this matchup. I do find it that really unlucky for Mast for him to fall. I think Poland actually confirms that round if he can get into red that early. But that little bit of luck going into Serbia's way really does come back to give them a little bit more of an edge, to allow for a faster flank into Banana. But there it is, a much more potent buy from Poland here in the third. Galil's across the board with Friend on an AK as well. Just contacted up A. Not a bad call.
Technically contact mid as well as Mars throws one of your flashes off the wall behind him. So.
Yeah, okay, man. All right. At least I'm throwing the flashes.
2-0 for Serbia. And like you said, I think this is the right decision to kind of go for that force buy back in.
You're low util as well, right?
Yeah, and because you put so much pressure on, especially economically towards Serbia, you actually feel if you're Poland, you might have, in some ways, advantages coming forward. And they do, actually. You know, rifles across the board. The only thing they're lacking is challenging Kindo with that orb.
Very weird default here from Poland. They commit to an A default or A-centric default, but now reorient themselves back to mid. Friend finds his way into the red room, and I think he's gone undetected. He'll still be checked, and Dragon hits a cracking shot onto that Polish sniper. A-split now paramount for them, but they haven't cleared out Choiv just yet. This angle can get deadly, and he goes 1 for 1. He's done his job this side anchor. Now it's for the rest of the team to step up to the plate.
Yeah, it's not done badly in a 3 versus 3, but again, one of the issues that we saw for those first 2 fights of Friend and Mars, they were both players without head armor. And now the remaining 2 are tagged up as well. This is going to be a little awkward. A lot of it's on Mary, who probably will get first contact here, but Kindo holding for that swing. It's all a timing play. There it is, but Kindo can't hit the shot. And Mary's done more damage towards that second player. Kindo might be tempted as well to rely on the rifler to try and do it all. Last man tagged up. And I don't even know he was going to be given the respite of the saver. They might try and hunt, and they don't allow him the exit. That is the right call by Poland and the right execution too.
Yeah, a little worrying there in the mid-round, trying to reorient back through middle, but it works out splendidly. They get themselves Donut very easily. They get through red room, and sure, Friend falls early, but all that attention being drawn isolates Choiv in a 1-for-1 duel. And all that hard work to keep at it on this CT economy has paid off. And the CTs will now be on the back foot with these upgraded pistols.
Nade over towards Shelf in case anybody was tempted to jump up. I mean, Serbia given quite a bit of control into mid. Poland just don't want to fight there. They do want to fight in towards Cave, and that's one which works well in their favor as already Beanox. I mean, he did a lot of impact on the T side of Nuke. He looked so good when it came to entries. He had like 3 rounds in a row, he got double entry kills. Might see it once again. Tomago coming for support. He then gets his second behind it. And again, that's probably the round here. Unfortunately, Serbia not given the choice. They have to go for a force because of double eco. That's one that hasn't worked out in their favor. 2 versus 5, which feels nigh on impossible. And especially now, there's all left up for Choive, who is on the complete wrong side of the map. I don't really think we get a chance here at all. Maybe an exit kill, but no, not even that. Really simple stuff coming forward. Poland get their second, and it will be this game tied up.
And now Serbia have no choice but to just go for a full eco, right? They just kind of have to give way for Poland to take the lead. And so far, the fundamentals that were lacking on Dust 2, that look fantastic on Nuke, continue to shine bright here for them. Yes, you're getting a little ballsy pushing through smokes like that, making it a little more possible for the 5-7s, but you've got another player to back you up in Beanox. He's just done so much work on this offense so far. And this team looks completely rejuvenated. One team that we were hoping would show a lot of prowess in this tournament with how many maps that they've played, and you're starting to see those fruits of their labor paying off.
Laid long. It doesn't actually do as much damage as I thought it would. It's the big stack it. Beanox has a chance. The spam isn't too far away either. If they were just sending, if they just send one feeler out towards A, they get so much information. There's one spotted. Tomoko sort of has to get a bit of support here as well. He is going to get overwhelmed, but thankfully it's okay. And it is. Okay, there was a moment where that could have been a little bit more expensive. The AWP can be recollected, so in the end, it's not too worrying. There was a moment where it felt like potentially it could have gone like 1-for-1 trade just because of the numbers. But not to be. Poland going to take a lead 3 rounds in a row for them. And the worrying thing is this gives me slight throwbacks over towards Nuke, where it's the second the guns come out, it's just one-way traffic on the T side.
Yeah, you don't want this to spiral if you're Serbia. There's a lot riding on this, even with how early this game is. And now we've got to find Serbia win conditions. What can they punish on a regular basis towards Poland? How do they find a way back through?
Friend stood up with the AWP. Drops down as well. He wants to drop that just at the entrance of the cave Molotov. So that forces Colin to make a decision. Play inside a cave and risk that, or fall back in towards the side. He gets a smoke down before he makes the decision to fall away, but he gets spammed. And the spam is even a little bit more damage on top of that as well towards Kindo. Worked it. Beanox, he knows his angles, knows his lineups. He's just keeping the pressure on. Serbia, this gun round has to be taken. If it isn't, we're probably talking about Poland getting to the point of being like 5-2 already on T side, which is it's pretty good.
Yeah, and as the clock continues to tick, you can feel that pressure building for Serbia. Nobody is moving. Side anchors are still stuck into place. And now here comes the hit. They nade open the smoke, and Emmy just not expecting that at all. And why would you? There's no sound cue to suggest anything. And Mary on the A side has caused even more concern. That means Kindo's got to deal with that situation. And now it leaves Choive isolated here as well. It should be a simple trade. He gets deked from a flying Mac-10 of Mast. And Poland will capitalize on a fourth, all off the back of Beanox's entry.
And it's going to be a 4-less round as well, just to make matters even worse. Celebrations for Poland, of course, understandably, as they're starting to really light things up. For me, this is a side that are offering up a hell of a lot. And where we're at now, I mean, I'm starting already to talk about where Serbia haven't recovered from map number 2, and they haven't sort of forgotten about it. They're kind of lingering a little bit. And it is concerning. Back into a low buy, back to where Poland, I mean, basically get guaranteed here at a 3-round advantage. This is already looking exactly like Nuke did.
And now Serbia are starting to get a little nervy for me in terms of how they're approaching these rounds. You can't shirk back and play passive on this map anymore. You've got to vie for the mid control. Maybe you try to lane crunch and you try to send up through mid. You fight through banana on the B side of the map. Maybe you try to have your anchor get a little active, a little shifty with Kindo on that AWP, take A main control. There are a lot of options here for Serbia, but they've got to be willing to take said options into consideration before this half spirals out of control.
That's true. This one, unfortunately, we're not going to see a hell of a lot that Serbia can bring to the table here. The 5-7s, out for the most part, bar Kindo. He wants to keep just enough residual cash for that AWP in towards round about 8. maybe put a bit of pressure on towards Friend. He's been using the ult, but it's really not actually been the requirement here of like, if Friend plays well, we win. If he doesn't, we lose. Because the core of the rifles are actually stepping up in their own regard.
Yeah, your mobile riflers and your extremity players are giving you the entries. You're not having to put it all onto the shoulders of Friend.
Because we saw yesterday, he had to get like 2 kills on the entry. Or
Nearly
like, no
every
chance.
round.
Yeah.
Nearly. And genuinely, it shows now that Poland have a little bit of depth to them. Mass is getting a little bit more comfortable in the calling department. Things are slotting into place for Permita when it matters. Molly through into Donut. More pressure being built onto this A side. And Choiv is going to have to find some information. But they're going to get this penny to drop a little too late, or maybe not. Collins and Kindo will be here to help out Emmy once this B-side hit inevitably comes through.
You know, spam. Got a kill with it last round. This time not to be, but might just stop fading the presence and give this one a go. They're going to head in towards this B site, and they're actually going to get the B site completely open. They're just got to focus really on one angle. Does Kindo push the smoke? He does, to 0 effect. Bit of damage, sure, but it doesn't make a ground difference at all. And on these rotates, it should be fine. The trade is okay. They might even just try and save this rifle. We're going to have a fight.
Hold on.
1 versus 2, not impossible. Choiv is an AK and half armor, and now 1 versus 1. Hang on a moment, we might just have a bit more of a narrative behind this. Tomoko playing one of the more common angles here. Time ticking, no kit for Choiv, and he looks the wrong way. Close but no cigar, but there's, again, silver lining that we like to speak of, is that Serbia, with nothing brought to table, get 4 to 5 kills.
Yeah, but you just love a little bit of luck to swing your way, right? Just getting one of those man disadvantage situations, those low buy situations in your favor. Make Poland start to feel a little bit uncomfortable, but their T size on both Nuke and Ancient have just been sublime.
Yeah.
And I think you just, again, I hate to harp on it again, but just finding mid control, it needs to be the name of the game, and finally
Yes.
Dragon will establish that. Choiv is there to help deal with it, and Collins actually smokes forward. He wants to take the duel out of cave, and I like this. I like a little bit more pace to the CT side from Serbia, and straight away they've gotten a kill on a mask. They've bought Tomiko down low, and this is one that they have to convert if you're the CTs.
Just looking as well, last year Serbia ended up finishing 3rd overall. They lost in the semis. And unfortunately, they might not even make it that far this time. Credit to them, you know, they lost to Sweden, who ended up going flawless all the way throughout. So you can't really blame them for that one, but not even making it towards the semis this time would be pretty heartbreaking. At least last time, with a 3rd place finish, because they had that 3rd, 4th playoff, they ended up netting themselves 20 grand. You
Really
take it.
Makes you think about the prize pool that we have here. What is it, 250 grand?
250, yeah.
For the winner? And I mean, we talk about Valve rankings. Who knows what that could do for you in the long run?
It's true. Yeah, 240,000 USD in total is the prize pool we're rocking with. 100k to 1st place, 50 to 2nd, 25 to 3rd, 15 to 4th, and you know it tails down a little bit after that. Beanox goes 1 for 1. Won't be denied. Oh, he can't deny it. So it does give, I'm going to say a chance, but it's not a chance. Friend's out of there. He's going to save. He's not going to try and do anything special. So finally, Serbia get a bit of success. It's not all doom and gloom. I think it's the kind of position that we're in for the Serbian side. But they do really need something. Friend's actually kind of desperately trying to stay alive here. He's being swarmed, but he finds the perfect gap in the net. That's that. Of course, Mongolia, for those who haven't been following along, they lost to Sweden. At the same time this game's been going on, they lost 2-0, means they've kind of confirmed themselves in that 5th, 8th spot, which means 12.5k for them. And honestly, thinking about it for the Huns, getting 12.5k in your pocket, that might actually put them as like a top 10 team in Asia.
Yeah,
I think it probably does.
If we're not considering,
I'll have a look. I think it does though.
You know, the money that you get off of it, and how shallow the money being spread across these teams are.
Yeah.
They would significantly climb. You're not wrong there.
Let me look. Regional rankings. I'll see if I can find the Valve regional rankings for Asia. I have a feeling. Oh, I mean, they're already 8th in the world. That might put them above the likes of Rare Atom and IHC. The only one who's probably above them that they might not be is Atox. And Atox are also 3 people now, so it's a little weird. Nearly getting a second there by Choi, as he gets a dig. It will be Mary with that kill to bring the numbers level 1-4.
Complete slowdown here for Poland in the 4v4, and as this happens, Collins and Emmy finally flush out Beanox. That's one player that they don't have to think about and make that one more. Tomiko hits the deck, and now Friend, he's gonna have to cook up a storm, but his counterpart in Kindo will pull it back into a very difficult 1v4 for Mary. Any damage is good damage here, with not a solid economy being built up, but it's not to be the case. Serbia now locking in another one. And they're starting to get a little bit more confident, starting to go for these mid-round aggressions, and they're panning out as well.
Well, a one-round game does start to give you a little bit of belief in the recovery out from Serbia. If Serbia get, with how it was, at a 5-2 scoreline, if they can actually end the half bare minimum 5, I'm pretty happy.
This map is not as CT-siders as it used to
Exactly,
be.
that's what I mean.
There are so many different styles of CS that can work on this map.
I think it's
I'm not worried.
I think it's probably the second most pluggy map in the pool these days. So I think if you have a solid T-side protocols, I think you can have a real lot of fun on this. It's not what it was because those T-side spawns being moved forward. So I really think you can do a hell of a lot if you've got a good T-side. And like I said, if you can get 5 rounds CT, I think Serbia are actually doing okay. Tomiko, he's got to do something quite special in that round as not to be. So there's the tie-up. And I think, yeah, I'm going to say, I think Poland do actually need a little bit of a breather.
Yeah, you can start to tell that their defaults are not being given enough time to let those extremity players work. You're not allowing for Beanox or Mary to give you a way back in. And with that, you've got to find another way through this. Maybe you go gunning for that all-in approach on middle. Maybe you try to capitalize on that A contact play that you were thinking about at the beginning of the half.
How well would you say you know the Valve regional rankings?
Oh, not at all.
Yeah, because obviously there's like sort of like a point system, right?
Yeah.
And the Huns found themselves on 872 points. Rare Atom above them on 941. Would 12.5 grand put you, like, how does the money rate the points?
The thing is, right, is Rare Atoms through to the major, so they've got that bonus still there, even if they come in last place in the opening stage.
Did they get any money for that?
Yeah, surely.
What, last place the major? Oh yeah, maybe like 4 grand or something, right?
I don't know.
I feel like it's not a lot actually. I feel like last place. Rare Atom look like they might be a potential 0-3 team. I don't want to like dunk on them too hard, but they could be one of them.
And now Poland, you know, they try something a little bit quicker here in round number 11, and that was the changeup that they wanted, but instantly shut down from Collins. And Collins, you've got to give him some credit here. So much impact to claw this half back for Serbia. And we're looking at the CTs taking a lead at the tail end. And, you know, if you're Poland, you don't feel good all of a sudden about just 5T rounds with how this game started.
It is 10k as well for last place, so they basically will guarantee to stay above Huns. So unlucky for them. For the Huns, that is. I mean, they're still top 8. It's not quite enough to kind of guarantee spots. They've got to probably do a little bit more.
Maybe some open qualifier juice would be great.
Yeah. There's a couple of events open quals. I think one ESL, one on Star Ladder. I think it is. I think it's those two the ones that.
Blast also want to do a little as well.
Oh yeah, it seems like they changed up a little last minute as well. The wild cards, right? So who knows? This is a big fight. Fast. Looks the wrong way. The response is good as the bomb goes down. Still a 2 versus 4. Make that 1. As Friend are going to get caught, and down goes Mary too. Serbia's recovery here is actually incredibly important. Because even for us, I don't know if you can hear it at home, but they're starting to get loud here. And if Serbia get fired up, that's already momentum in terms of their own kind of game in the server, but out the server too. They're starting to believe.
Absolutely.
So, this is important, man.
A lot riding on this one. Sure, it's either 6-6 and, you know, Poland have a little bit of something to cling on towards the end of the half, or it's Serbia just battling back with 5 in a row to close it out. And we're getting into that closing act of our first quarterfinal, technically second, considering Sweden Huns is over. Aggression from Dragon, going through his own smoke in middle.
It's close.
And Dragon will complete that kill. Trades going all the way in favor of Serbia. And Poland have gotten into donut, Neil.
Yeah, but then at the same time, Beanox feels like he should be dead on arrival here. It's a spot where he's pinted in from both ramp and that cave aggression.
What is
Then
going on?
Choi falls away, and then they're now not holding him. So Dragon needs to be really careful here. Choi is holding the cross. That's the main thing. And he should get the kill, and he will. So he keeps Dragon alive. Dragon's now holding this elbow push, but then Friends wrapping through as they get that plant via the donut player of Mary, and Friends in behind the orb. So as long as Mary doesn't peek in towards CT, he's guaranteed 2 here. Get the rifle first, and you should be fine. He's looking for a third player's coming over. This is now going to be so good from Friend. That is incredibly well played. Trigger discipline to the nth degree, and unfortunately now this feels nigh on impossible.
No
but
way.
Dragon, tap on towards the bomb, kill on towards one as well. Another tap, this time a stick as well. The spam gonna work out as Poland survive a scare, but that round is won and done by that man there, a Friend.
Oh, I mean, he's had a relatively quiet series. He's not been called upon all throughout. But now, when they needed a player to dig them out of this hole that they were slipping into slowly but surely, he steps up with the rifle. And there's so many situations there where he could have played it incorrectly, maybe even a little luck go against him where, you know, maybe Emmy has second doubts and clears behind him for some reason. Sometimes the players have that little sixth sense to,
Or like,
to
yeah,
do that.
they don't even think about it. They just jump out, look right, sort of survive.
Yeah.
A subconscious type thing, and it could have actually been an issue, but wasn't to be. So yeah, really well done from Friend. I mean, that's one of those heartbreaking rounds to lose by Serbia, where you just gotta sit back and say, oh, why did not one of us look there? 3 people went that direction. Double Julie's playing up close here. This is an absolute murder hole of an entry in towards cave if they go in that direction.
Instead, though, they're going to toss 2 smokes into B, and they've killed the A extremity player of Friend as well. They could opt into an A rotation, but instead they're going to go into this stack. 2 beautiful kills. Make that 3 between Collins and Kindo, and it's just Beanox wondering where all his teammates disappeared. Flash square in his face. Kindo decapitates him, and Serbia now take the lead. Friend kills in that round number 13 or not.
Flash basically bounces off his forehead. This is
Yeah.
the worst possible place to get it. That's a big one. Serbia now 4 for 4 in pistols in the last 2 maps. In Nuke, it made no difference, but it makes a hell of a difference here in Ancient. 3rd and final, a really good recovery from being 5-2 down, and now finding yourselves 7-6 up. And Poland finally not going for that force either. So it will mean that Serbia are basically gifted over the 8th here, and then Poland could buy in early. Quick play towards the A site. And no one there to meet them or greet them. The red carpet rolled out for a bomb plant. That'll be fine. It's about whether we can get access here. They might get one towards Dragon. I don't think he wants to stick around. And he's got all the information that he needs.
Yeah, all good for Serbia here. They get that necessary incision, and we talked about the up and down performance of Mask, and we had that drop off in Dust 2.
Pinstring them in.
But here on Ancient Neo, it's Masked on 1.
Yeah, I mean, we're looking at a point now where this game is starting to feel like it's actually getting to the make or break point for this Polish side. If they don't find a round in probably the next 2, maybe not 2, like 2 or 3, right? Next 2 gun rounds, they're done here. I think it's probably the way to look at this. Serbia are starting to pull away. They're starting to bridge a bit of a gap, and we're actually getting to a point where even with a buy like this for Poland, it does make you still question a bit. Like you mentioned, Mars 111, we'd asked questions of him as well and said, you know, in the past, he really struggled numbers-wise, so he let the team down. But the previous 2 maps, it wasn't there. He was actually doing okay. And the unfortunate thing for him is he is a glaring sore thumb in a Polish side that are struggling on a map in which they've beat this Serbian roster on very, very recently. So I'm worried.
Full lane control found for Serbia, as well as mid presence. There's going to be a late re-smoke through CT spawn, but at the end of the day, Serbia still retain all of this presence. Minute 10 now. Serbia start inching their way in through this B bomb site. Sight hit flashes through, but that smoke will dissuade them for just a little bit longer, and they don't have to rush into anything.
No.
With all that space, let your extremity players work. Let's see if Dragon can find something on the other end.
Got a minute to work with, just shy of, so You're spot on. They're not in a rush. They're not under some pressure here to make something have to work in their favour. Mars going to play up close here with this MP9. Emmy's still got good room to work with into his cave. He does step there, though. However, that step feels like it draws the rotate over. Emmy doesn't realize he's just done an incredibly smart play, incredibly by accident.
Right.
That's what's happened there, but it might just work. Beanox has to go nuclear here, at least 2, if not 3, in a very close range position, and he does only get 1. 1 for 1 is simply not good enough, and honestly, Poland might just save.
Yeah, I mean, it's a possibility. They get to the scene of the crime very quickly. And they do have that 1 kit, but there's no utility to cordon off any angles. It has to come down to these gunfights, and they do get offered 1 up onto a Dragon. And Collins falls as well. It's on to Choiv and Emmy, and look at how fast and advanced Choiv is. And Emmy finds a double. It's all into the 1v1, all onto Tomiko. And he's got the kit on his back as well. He's collected it. Is he going to stick it? Of course he is. Of course he is. And Choiv doesn't need it, but he gets off.
Why?
The opportunity was right there. I have no idea why he would. Does he have the time here? 15% here, just barely. And Tomiko gets it over the line. The 4v4A retake. And the CT side inch ever closer.
He gets so lucky. Why does he get off there? He's already done 4 out of 5 seconds. He may as well just stick it at that point. I think, did he hear a step? Or he maybe thought he heard a step.
Yeah.
But he panicked massively. Thankfully, it doesn't end up hurting him. The one thing he was worried about is because he hadn't spotted him in towards CT, he wasn't actually sure if he'd wrapped in towards Temple and actually whether he'd gone for a deep CT angle.
He wouldn't have had the sound cue there.
Exactly. Because the bomb was technically planted for Temple side, and not for CT, his probably thought process was that he was Temple. Thankfully, ended up not punishing him. It's really, really scrappy, and it will be Serbia calling a timeout. 8-7. It's an incredibly important round for Poland, but even still...
Mentally as well, right?
Yeah.
It's just like grinding out a 4v4 retake like that with no util and a couple MP9s as well in that mix. It's a tough one.
Yeah, and it's one of those where for Poland, because of how expensive it was, it actually means that they arguably come in with a worse buy than Serbia here because of that bomb plan alone. There's 2 MP9s over towards Poland rather than just the 1 Mach 10 for Serbia. The one advantage they've got is the orb. However, Friend hasn't been that much of an advantage just yet.
Yeah, not live here, guys. It looks like a lot of typing in the server, and Serbia are having some issues, so we'll iron that out sooner rather than later. And
yeah, it looks like it's on Poland's side by the look of it. Seems like this means the admin over there. So yeah, and damage wasn't taken.
No. All the T's look like they had moved back into spawn quickly enough. So
easy as.
You always hate those situations. I remember we had that tech timeout not too long ago in Tier 1 where I think 2 damage was taken by a nade.
I did at the Americas RMR.
We had one in the Americas close qualifier.
Yeah.
It was like Boss and Timberman.
Yes.
And
I remember that just on Twitter, like.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw like the chat logs for that
I
game.
did.
It was genuinely crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. That was just prime them though, wasn't it? Really.
Yeah.
It's sort of to be expected in a weird and wonderful way. I think it was the Americas RMR back for PJ Stockholm, but it was literally something of the sort of like it was 1 point of damage from a team nade.
Oh.
That was something like that, and that meant the round was live. It was like something heartbreaking. Thankfully, they didn't actually end up getting punished, so it wasn't the end of the world. But yeah, for a moment, it was a little bit, dicey. Like if they had lost that map or the series, it would have been really awkward. It looks like I think that tech delay might be ending in just a second. It looks like the time. No, yeah. I think it's ticking down there. YouTube being set up. So we're back live. That's all what we want to be seeing.
Keen eyesight.
What can I say, man? 20/20 vision with contacts. And Serbia back underway. I think after losing a round like that, for Serbia, it's about can they respond in kind. This is so aggro from Mary, and I love it. If you've got an MP9, play up close.
Yeah, but look at this. Emmy playing behind that Molotov, advanced positioning for him to find an entry. And he could get offered up 1 here. Collins as well. They'll go barreling through. It's a semi-contact play, and they're hoping for that entry, but they'll take the site instead. And aggression through the smoke. Friend is completely unaware as he unscopes, and they found themselves a 4v4.
In the post barn as well. This feels pretty good. We're creeping on this smoke for Tomoko, and as Mars delivers a really important kill, it gives them a chance. But if Kindo can get two here, oh my god, what is happening in this round? They're now both playing out towards ramp. Tap on towards the bomb, the
that's through the
spam
board.
through the wood, gets that kill on towards Beanox, and then Mars has no idea how to play this or where to play this, and without a kit as well, it means time is of the essence. He's saving the AWP, he's out of there. That is a heartbreaking way to lose that round there for Poland.
Oh, but I mean, credit to Emmy to commit to that call, calling for the instant smokes into the front of Cave and to that short side.
Yeah.
And it does inevitably make it easier for the plant to go down. And once that pressure is being set upon, that's where you can have the late lurk in the back of Cave to come into fruition, and it does work out in the end.
Not only is he outplaying him numbers-wise, but he's outcalling him by a long way.
yeah.
Emmy's actually really stepped up. That previous map, I think it's clear that there was obvious pitfalls in that map for the whole side. They don't play it enough or a lot. That's one of those maps you can just tell they don't have reps on it, as you can see by the clear mistakes and the lack of cohesion. But back into a map in which they do play, they're a bit more comfortable on. Emmy's just got mass numbers. So it does show the two maps that aren't technically punished picks are actually where Emmy's doing all his best work.
And now, Poland are reaching desperation station. 4 stack on that A side, and Mask alone with the P250 here on B. Execution has come in, and again he's pushed into Cave without any damage that can be outputted. This bomb will go down pretty much right in his face. And Serbia look poised for double digits. It's getting real dicey here. After all that good work that they did on that T side start, with it 5-2.
Yeah.
Serbia climb back, claw back, and push through even some miraculous plays from players like Friend.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely spot on. Now with themselves locked into us double digits, they're 3 rounds ahead of Poland, 3 rounds away from moving forward towards that semi-final. Brilliant spot that they can find themselves in. They're not going to be keeping on the AK, that's good. And Kindo only has to worry about the AWP, which Friend, the very least has that to work with. That's just the small little positive. But for Poland, that was a non-existent round from the get-go. The only thing they had to worry about was just keeping the AWP in play. So in a weird way, losing the round, it's still actually job done, because all it's about is keeping the AWP in some sort of play here. So we're back in towards the buy for Poland, and we are very, very rapidly approaching make or break territory.
Yeah, it really comes down to this one. And unfortunately, Poland strategically are also backed into a corner. They've been conditioned on that B site.
They have.
Repeatedly, right? I mean, multiple times where they're giving away a lot of that control, opting in for mid presence. And now, if I'm Emmy, I'm looking toward an all-in mid approach, or I'm thinking about an A contact approach.
Yeah.
And that could just be the sucker punch to completely deny and shut out Poland from this game. The fact that those 2 rounds worked as well as they did really has some worry for me in that Poland camp.
Take the layover nice and quick there as well, whatever the issue was. Only a brief one. Let me get back on the way. Like we said, they're running out of time here for Poland. And being in the spot they were, 5-2 up on their T side, looking really nice. And it all just fell apart so rapidly. They're going to back over towards Donut. Bit of chip damage, nothing major, but it still feels like we want to fight here. Mary might opt against it. 1-for-1s are actually better, because Serbia walk away in a 2-for-1 there in that elbow fight. I like the idea by Poland of let's take mid control, let's aggress, because we can't allow them to keep taking all of this map control. They just lose the Angels.
Yeah, they committed to that idea again, and Serbia were looking for that all-in approach in mid, and they get it.
Yeah.
Even with that, and that just spells doom and gloom for the CTs. They're going to try to pull it back once more, and Tomiko finds a little bit of a silver lining, a little bit of a beacon of hope here. Minute 5, 3v3, mid control still established for the Ts, so they're still not out of this just yet. Dragon will be left to his own devices and has a lot of room to play with. If he wants to move down to the red room, he can. He can reunite with his teammates out of that B side, and we've seen how effective it's been in the last 2 rounds to crack into this bomb site. And I think that's what they're considering. Emmy will take point. And now Mast struggle bus of a game will be called upon once more.
Ooh, missed Molotov, but not a missed shot from Emmy. That's a really nice double. Oh, that is crisp. Emmy rolling back the years. Doesn't look a day over 21 with that sort of aim. That's the round done. Once again, for the third round in succession, Friend has to just save an orb. That's all. That's the only positive that Poland actually have to work with.
I mean, he's been avoided so often on this defensive half.
Who needs to go A?
Right, exactly. And right now, Emmy has just worked Poland across this game, both individually when called upon and now strategically as well.
That's the charm I have.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, baby.
Only winners play with it, I guess.
Only winners play with it. And only true aimers get it. But the fact that they dropped the orb, that was like the only positive that Poland had to work with. And now, we can't even try and force around the orb. Friend can't even drop a rifle over and have some support there. We probably have to half by this, or make the incredibly awkward, tough, and probably poor decision to force buy. I don't know. It looks like maybe the half buy, which feels a little bit more smart. But yeah.
Yeah, you're max loss at this point, right?
Poland,
so
for the most part, giving up on 12? Kind of. Playing for overtime, really.
Yeah. I mean,
it is a pick your poison. Play for overtime or try and run the gauntlet of, like, 5 in a row with weird, economic stay. I mean, neither are good.
I would favor this one, just considering that this buy would look a little bit better than the other. And look at this, they're just going for a Hail Mary approach, trying to cut this map in half. But Emmy is already playing ahead of this. They're going to go charging through. It's Tomiko and Mass that have to step up, and sure, Tomiko finds one, but he gets spammed through the smoke. And man advantage found. Bomb plan surely confirmed, but maybe Beanox has a little thing to say here.
What are we doing? What are we doing there from Dragon? 316 with a Molotov. The bomb is down, and this feels done. I mean, no kit is probably the main thing for me, and now that it's smoked out too, surely no chance. I think they might even be tempted to keep this AK alive. I think it's like a saving grace in a situation where they don't really have a lot of them. I say that, swinging through that smoke is wild. Running low on ammo, tries to one-tap, does not work. Tap on towards the bomb, not a stick, and it's not planted for Dragon. He's spamming on that smoke, and he makes it work. Dragon does so well there. Despite the lack of vision, 12-7, Poland have to go 5 in a row, take us just to overtime. And from the spot that they were in, with how dominant Nuke was, they have fallen really apart here in this map number 3.
Look, for Poland, they're playing with house money there. You would have liked to keep that AK, but at the end of the day, it would have been nice to pull something back, but it's the explosion of emotion now for Serbia.
Yeah.
You could feel that tension that's just, it's still building there, but now it feels like it's all sloughed away. In pole position now to confirm another top 4 appearance here at IESF, this time in Riyadh.
Yeah, back-to-back top 4s for Serbia is really important. Last time, they lost to Sweden. Are they on the same size of bracket as Sweden?
No, they are not.
They're not. So they get that luxury of avoiding them, but then they've got Kazakhstan.
Yeah, Kazakhstan and
Portugal. Yeah. So
which is it's a doable.
I think it's the easiest side of the bracket.
Yeah,
Germany and Sweden being top side is actually kind of insane.
If that semi comes through, genuinely, like that
should though as well. Really, if I'm being honest. So. Oh, yeah. It's crazy that arguably the 2 best teams are actually meeting in the semi. I don't know. Did they both finish first in their group? They did, right?
Germany definitely did, and Sweden did, I
think,
they did, as well. Yeah,
so actually, that was just the way it was kind of lined up with seeding, that they were kind of, if they did as best as they could, they're still going to end up meeting at the semis. So that semi-final is going to feel like a final in itself, really. If that is the case, of course. We don't know yet, but if we're going off favourites, our favourites were Serbia in this. I said 2, but it has gone towards that 3rd, and Poland are going to go 5 in a row. It feels unlikely. We have the AWP in play. We have the quad M4 behind it. 2 kits to work with. And a fair decent amount of util, so not exactly that they're in a really precious situation here, but it's just the run they've got to make. That's a bit of a whiff, one of a few from Emmy. And as well with Collins also being caught just a little bit before, already down to 3. This is where Serbia's kind of play of let's just keep going out towards B is actually going to work against them.
Yeah, adaptation there from Poland to try and take lane control. And they're going to try to extend that man advantage, but Troy pulls one back. But look at how much damage they've taken in all of these exchanges. 6 HP, 12 HP between Troy and Dragon respectively. Mass playing up close and personal. Should have this kill locked and loaded, but it's just not been his map, Neo.
Yeah, hang it up.
It's just not it.
Fry's bag, hang it up right now. It's not been the game. You do the math. It's not been good. what is he? 3 and 16.
Oh.
Yikes. And look at the
It's just
HP.
unfortunate, right? Because it eventually just gets into your head, right?
Like, I
That
can't
I'm not,
kill.
I'm not going to win this fight.
I cannot. No matter what I do, I can't win these fights. 3 versus 3, but it's just the vast difference in HP. And there's not even the ability of the Bogdan's Law with an AWP. So that makes things so awkward. We're going to continue with this A presence. There's one just out of that AWP, a friend that he does well on towards Kindo. Bomb going to struggle to get down here. But there is a plant going to come through. So at the very least, they got that to work with. Like ships in the night, they're walking past each other.
Oh.
We're touching. They're in the smoke. They don't even realize it. Look down, Dragon. Look down. He has no idea. He still had a chance, though. They still haven't. They've walked past each other. So Dragon's got all of this information to work with. And the bomb is actually technically planted for him with a smoke. Tap on towards it. Does he opt to spam or is he going to play time? He's so low. Now he goes for it. And that'll give away his position. Surely this one done. Friend going to be first contact. The bomb is being held as well. And Friend does enough. It's one of the rounds of all time. Not the good ones, but it's one of them. And it will be Poland who walk away with it. The only issue with those sort of rounds is, like, for Poland, it's just not replicable.
No, not necessarily, but it does show that they're still finding solutions to the problem, and that is those B-centric defaults. Finding lane presence and finding mid-control has been so difficult for them across this game, and having that moment of respite is something that they can hang their hat on in this comeback. It shows a direct improvement in that regard. But
Yeah.
The lack of a better word is that it's just going to be so difficult. 4 rounds is 4 rounds, and there's so much money to chew through as well.
The one positive they got to work with is that for Serbia, they've got no long-term economy to work with anymore. So lose this round, Poland get the 9th, then basically get gifted the 10th. Then it's 1 gun round being the difference. Because then, again, Serbia buy in, lose that, money broken. So it is one of those sort of things to work with where, for Poland, if they can deny a bomb plant, there's actually 2 gun rounds being the difference. Still, it's a big ask, but it's technically not impossible. We shall see. For Serbia, they've just called for their 2nd and 3rd timeouts there. So a brief moment to discuss, and he takes a hell of a lot of damage. Collins playing at the edge of that smoke. He doesn't spot one. Cross in front of him. So might still be a bit of a chance as Mars will dip back in towards Cave. They've got mid-controls. That's the one big positive.
But they've taken back lane control on the other end from Poland, so a more B-heavy presence here from the CTs. It's all about trying to make sure that this hole is being plugged up, and Friendly is there to respond. He spots a shoulder and confirms the kill as well. Tomiko will respond in kind alongside Choiv, so still a man advantage here for Poland. Should be a confirmation, and Mass will not let that one slip away. 4v2, Poland struggling to find some success on the CT side, but better late than never here, Neo.
Nobody limits Mars to just 3 kills. I'll say that for free.
Nobody kills him 17 times.
Nobody kills him 17 times. Kindo, a near impossible 1 versus 4, for being completely honest.
Any damage is good damage here,
Yeah.
though. Look at the economy across the board for the CTs.
Yeah.
Still under some scrutiny, 3 digits across the board.
It is one of those rounds that is considered a swing round, but it swings
Beautiful.
very, very heavily in favor of Poland. Really well done there by Beanox at the end. It will be up to a 9th, like we mentioned, with the lack of,
Should
well,
be
a
double
bomb
digits here.
plant, and of course the lack of money now to work with. We are going to see, well, most likely going to see the 10th get put up here for Poland. Because we can barely even go for an upgraded pistol, Serbia.
Yeah, I was going to say these are the hardest rounds to convert sometimes on a comeback.
Yeah.
But there's not even that Tech 9 pressure, the armor pressure.
Yeah,
That conversation's not there. So Serbia will have to take a complete backseat here. The conga line continues to go in towards that A-bomb site. Maybe
Let's
they get
rush,
a straggling
baby.
CT. Yeah, you've got nothing to lose. Here comes the meat grinder. Mary gets a little bit of confidence, the need to boot. And it's just Kindo. Tosses in that smoke. He gets a dink, but other than that, that's all she wrote. Double digits found for Poland. And now is that opportunity to see whether or not overtime is that possibility.
Yeah, I mean, a round that we ultimately just don't care about. We weren't expecting anything in
For
that
sure.
spot. This is actually the really important one, because once again, full buy going to come through, and with this Serbia side, if we lose this round, or if we don't get a bomb plant, I think most importantly, that's where things hurt. We're going to see another technical pause. My assumption is
It looks like it might be the
Serbia?
Serbia side,
Yeah, I think so.
potentially.
somewhere towards Dragon, I think, looking at it. But granted, for the most of these There we go.
It's just a match medic, I think.
Okay, yeah, nice. Match medic
Should be
reset.
sorted.
We should be back underway, hopefully in just a mere moment. But yeah, I think for the most part, this is probably the most important round we've had all series. If Poland win this, we actually legitimately
I
discuss
mean, the
overtime.
mental just momentum just completely swings the other way, right? All of a sudden, all the pressure on Serbia to close. They don't even have a great buy if they don't get a bomb plant here. So
It's true.
there is. I mean, this just feels like the game for the series, you know?
Yeah, because if Poland find this round, the economy gets broken once again. They've just got to make sure they can limit not the bomb plant. If we get a bomb plant plus loss bonus means that at least we're getting kind of Galil's full armor util, or at least like AKs and like one smoke. So this is the big one, really. If we can just deny this bomb going down, Poland actually have a chance.
If I'm Poland here, I don't want to let the foot off the gas. I want to continue taking lane pressure.
Yeah.
That has really caused some concern for Emmy because then he's been going into that mid control and he hasn't been finding as much success. There has been response timings from players like Friend.
And they've actually done really well in adapting because they were consistently losing elbow control.
Right,
So
they were getting split upon.
Exactly. So rather than actually saying, right, let's continue putting the pressure on elbow, they've just adapted and said, right, just forget elbow. We'll let Friend play from Red Room, which he's been doing very, very well.
You've still got a donut player.
Yeah, we've still got a donut player.
there as
And
well,
then if we get lane, then we're actually suffocating them. So it is actually really smart how Poland have adapted. And, you know, well, you can't really say that about his numbers. You can give credit to Mars there in terms of the adaptation. So I'll give him that at the very least. 12 to 10. This is one of the more important rounds. This time, no elbow pressure coming through at all. They're leaving the bomb alone over towards A, where 4 are putting presence over towards B. This basically feels like this could even be one of them by Friend.
It's just posturing right now, but I'm not necessarily sure what the game plan is. They get themselves the 1-for-1,
Oh, look at this.
and all these players come through. The bomb has been spotted, but the trades come through either way. It doesn't matter. It looks like Serbia can just get themselves over the line unless Mast and Mary have something to say, and now it's all on Mary in the 1v3.
He's gone the wrong way as well. He went back in towards Donut, now comes back over towards mid, looking towards elbow. I mean, I guess Dragon in this spot, he's not under any pressure. He's no time
Plenty
pressure.
of time, yeah.
55 seconds. We're in a 1 versus 3. Let's let my teammates do all the job here. So I think for the most part, they're not really too worried. But it's just a question of, I guess, for Serbia, where is he? Like, where is he actually legitimately gone? Will be spotted. Will be tapped away as well. And funnily enough, Dragon's not going to rotate back over. They hear him in towards cave. Kindo will not be cleared. Serbia move forward in towards the semis after getting decimated on towards Nuke. They respond so damn well here in that map number 3. Last time they played, Poland won it 16-14 in overtime. And while Serbia denied that, they're doing regulation to move forward and eliminate Poland in the corners.
Serbia showing resiliency. I mean, I was really starting to get a little bit nervous considering the adaptations that Poland brought forth, but you've got to give credit to Emmy, man. As the mechanical side of things, on the strategy side of things, finding ways to make his rifle core look as good as it did. And I've got to just give him all the credit in the world.
Himself as well. I actually think he
genuinely.
really looked quite good. And that was the big issue. Sometimes when we kind of make these really blanket statements about IGLs, we kind of just quite meanly just say, just get a 1 rating. That's all we're asking for. Emmy does that and some, where Mars does anything
A lot
but.
of impact, man.
I know.
Genuinely.
His kills were so damn well. And also, he was himself a bit of a sacrificial lamb in a lot of those rounds, but it worked.
I mean, you find some key double kills on maps like Dust 2, on maps like Nuke, when they're in these man disadvantaged scenarios. They finally get the bomb down, play the post plan, and he just does it very smartly, very effectively every time. I do have to say, commiserations to Poland. I liked what they showed on Nuke, and I liked that little bit of a clawback on Ancient, but just not showing enough depth in terms of the firepower. And at the end of the day, it kind of cost them.
Yeah, and we didn't get that pop-up performance coming through from Friend. I feel like they actually needed that, unfortunately.
They really did.
But where we didn't get Friend, we actually got a little bit more out of Beanox and Tomiko. So credit to those two. I think they actually stepped up in quite a decent way, at the very least, as a rifling core, we like to say. But there's a few missing parts, and unfortunately, the depth of plan fell apart. Serbia, fantastic work from them as they move forward in towards that semi-final deservedly off the back of a brilliant map number 3. We've got Jazz now over on the stage with Choiv.
Joy, GG, well played to you and the boys, but you yourself being the only player that is not part of this core lineup outside of the event. Talk to me about how you felt the synergy joining this team.
I mean, I feel pretty good. I know the boys. I played with Dragon and Kindo for like 2 years. I know Collins from before, from Faceit and Emi. I just joined Phil Kindo's role. He took their open roles, and we had time to practice a bit, and it was okay, you know.
And for you boys, you know, you had a great Dust 2, and then when we headed into Nuke, oh my goodness, you know, a 10-round loss streak. You boys were saving most of those CT rounds, and you seemed to really struggle, especially when it came to those retakes as well. So where do you think things started to really fall apart for you?
I mean, to be honest, when we were preparing, we were only preparing for B1s. Nuke was like fifth or sixth option, and we just had 1 or 2 days on Nuke. But also, it's like Nuke is important about rotations and stuff like this, you know. And I think they had a really good plan, because I think also it's their weakest map, and you know, I think it's Poland's best map, and our like not the greatest. And we gave our best, but when we went outside, we knew that we couldn't do anything. So it was pretty rough. But we know Ancient is good, we know Dust is good, all other maps are good. So we'll work on the Nuke in the time we have now, so to prepare for the next game if we play it.
Well, I got to be honest with you, during that Ancient game, there was one round in particular where I was like, surely you boys are going to be a little bit tilted, and that was when Friend made his way into CT, picked up that 3K as well. Communications amongst the team, was there a little bit of tilt amongst you?
Not really. Like Kindo gave an info that one guy could be there, but since he didn't die, and like usually when we go back, we check these positions, and Dragon told me like I should go back to CT, we go together, but I thought it's already cleared because we knew about him. Like I guess that he's there, but after we died, we just knew that we didn't check it. It's like it cannot be tilted because we were like still in good position. Ancient is good T-side for us. I think it's Ancient is T-sided map in general, and we know how good we are on Ancient. Like even if I'm not with them, you know. So it wasn't the tilt. We just said, you know, I will just say F, and yeah, that's how it goes.
Sometimes you lose, sometimes you win, but you boys walked away with the victory now. The real question is, do you think you're going to be facing Kazakhstan or Portugal next?
I mean, Kazakhstan has good, I think Nilan is calling probably, he has most experience. Portugal is also good, they've been good. I don't really want to guess who's going to win. I have, for myself, no expectations whatsoever for this tournament. And that's how I play, you know, because I have nothing to expect from myself. We just go game by game, but whoever wins, it's going to be a pretty good game, I think.
The only focus you're saying then is for you boys to show up, do your best on the server, and walk away with a victory, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like we just enjoy our time here, you know. So we just go back game again, and that's it.
I'm hoping to see a better Nuke from you boys next time. Without further ado, it's back over to Alan.